Alright, I was concerned this would not be bright enough, but we're gonna go with it. Oh, my hair is a mess right now. Maybe I should just tie it up and call it a day. I don't even know anymore. I don't even know what to do. Ugh. And then here's my laptop lifting off again for some reason. I have no idea why. It keeps doing this. I'm gonna brush my hair. Hold on. I'm not bad. I'm just drawn that way. Just give up. Oh, I don't know why it looks so bad on camera, but it looks great in my mirror. I don't know, one of the things I'm hoping to do once I move to the new apartment is actually get a green screen for the back here so I can, be a real streamer. Or something, something along those lines. Anyway, I took today off and I took tomorrow off as well, and I'm having a wonderful time. I slept until like 2 o'clock. I mean, I woke up beforehand. I woke up at 9:30, then went back to sleep at like 10:30, something like that, and then woke up again at 2. So I had like a nap after sleeping, and then I went to bed at like 3 last night as well. I stayed up late. Anyway, we're not drinking wine tonight. I'm drinking out of this wonderful Rainforest Cafe Orlando cup, reminding me of the fun times that I had before all of the shit went bad. And we are drinking Fuzzy Navels. So, because it's a really easy drink to make, I have a lot of orange juice and I gotta drink it. The last time I had one of these was earlier this week. We decided we wanted breakfast really badly. And so we pretty much had everything we needed. The only thing, oh right, that means that we have a lot of bacon. Yeah, we only needed bacon and we needed one other thing. I don't remember what it was, but we made like hash browns, we made bacon, we made corned beef hash. Oh, that's the other thing I got, corned beef hash. We made eggs. I didn't eat any eggs. Waffles and something else. Or was that it? That might have been it. Anyway, we had this really big breakfast. It was really awesome. But I was like, I'm gonna have a boozy breakfast. Here we go. I think it might have been Sunday. Yeah, it might have been Sunday or last Saturday. I don't know. Now I'm gonna run out of. I'm gonna just put it all in. Fuck it. I am going to run out of this stuff, and that is good because it's one less thing to take with me when I move. Haha. And don't worry, I have another bottle. I am well prepared with plenty of schnapps. Oh god. But I did not bring a spoon. That is a problem. I need something to stir with. BRB. Even better, I have a straw, so I can be really extra. Stir and sip. Tropical drink moments. Yeah. This isn't working. If it sits at the bottom, this is really pulpy. So if it sits at the bottom, it's probably getting clogged up with pulp. There we go. Excellent. What you excited about? What's up? Or are you just excited about me? New nails, by the way. I have reviews on these. If anyone knows the brand Hollow Taco, they're excellent. So I'm happy that you're excited about me. Thank you. Aw. So this brand, Hollow Taco, is an excellent brand. My roommate has a lot of their stuff, and I keep pinching them off of her. Oh, okay, so I can't lift these all up in a row to show them off to people? Is that what you're telling me? There we go. Hollow Taco. And it really is hollow, nope, Hollow Taco. Like, so the brand is actually a YouTuber's independent brand. She loves holographic stuff to the point she has an entire channel called Simply Nailogical. She loves holographic stuff to the point that she um, would review like nothing but holographic top coats, and she would say top coats so fast. She would say hollow top coat and say it so fast that it sounded like she was saying hollow taco, and so that became a meme. And she took the meme and made it a brand, and that was the whole thing. Anyway, I am pretty much at the point now where I really only like these in terms of like I hold a lot of these polishes as like the gold standard of polishes in some cases, even better than some of the OPI's stuff, honestly. So this is their base coat. This is just their long last base coat, I think. I mean, I won't really say necessarily that it lasts very long on my nails because I have a tendency to chip within a week anyway, so whatever. But it's a solid base coat. Does a pretty good job of kind of counteracting the color of the nails. This is one of their more recent polishes, and that's the white that I have on. This is just white. It's called Not Milky White. As far as whites go, this is my favorite white that I have ever used. As far as their polishes go, this feels like you're putting paint on, and it kind of sucks. I don't like that. But as far as, you know, if you're going to get a white, this is a good white. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Exactly. Then we have One Coat Black here. One Coat Black is quite literally a one coat black. I am not kidding. This is two coats on the dark nails. They don't look black. I know they don't look black in the color of the thing, but because they look like they're shiny and purple, but it's actually black as the base. The one coat black are it will coat your nail in one coat. We'll say that. It is better if you do two coats, and that's what I've done with these. You know, it's one of those things where it's like if you are in a hurry and you need to just quickly put down a black and you're going to cover it with something else like one of their top coats anyway, no big deal, just use one coat. But if you want like solid nail color, two coats, it's plenty. This stuff, however, goes on so nicely. It goes on so evenly, really thin. You don't have to worry about layering at all. Like just two layers and you're done. And it dries very quickly. It's a marvelous polish. I really do like it. Then the shiny that you're seeing on the black nails, it's also on the white nails. You really like can't see them, unfortunately. Even like you really have to see it in a particular light to see it on the white, which is a shame. But you can see it on the black nails for sure. That shiny purpley stuff. That is the Aurora Unicorn Skin top coat that they recently came out with. Absolutely excellent. I love this. It's probably my favorite thing of theirs right now. You really only need one coat of this stuff to make this happen. And it looks excellent. It looks awesome on a bunch of other polishes as well, like purples. They have another polish that's part of this same collection where they released the Aurora skin, the unicorn skin, and the white. They also released an indigo, which is really nice. And then finally, of course, I topped it off with their glossy taco, which is just basic glossy top coat. I believe the glossy taco is even a really like there's something special about it that I can't remember how this is. 5 free. It's a 5 free. That's what it's called. I was like, there's a term for it. So it does not contain toluene, formaldehyde, dibutyl phthalate. Oof, that's a word. Camphor or formaldehyde resin. It is 5 free because of that. So it is pretty cool on that front. The other thing that I like about it, because I've used the OPI clear coat as well, is that it's got a really hard finish to it. Like the OPI one, I almost want to say feels a little bit like a rubbery finish. It still looks shiny, but like if I pressed the two nails together and rubbed them, like there would be friction. There's none of that here. It is like totally, totally smooth, which I really love. And it's got a really nice glossy shine to it. It really just takes your nails up that level. It's great. I highly recommend Hollow Taco. It's hollowtaco.com. This is not a paid this is not a paid advertisement. I wish it were. I need to stop doing this, but I'm just geeking out over here about this. So yeah. Also, awesome on the top hat. I love that. One of these days I gotta wear that Victorian dress that I have sitting in my closet. One of these days I gotta get it tailored, right? The vest is a little wide on me. But yeah, no, that's awesome. I love top hats. I have a really bad fake one in my closet from when I did my first drag show at Great Scott, which unfortunately is closing because landlords suck. Ugh, landlords. Anyway, I'm going to put these on. I do not need my speakers on anymore. I was playing Ass Creed Brocest Edition. If anyone doesn't know what that is, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Now, I joke about brocest, but there is incest in that game. Cersei and Jamie eat your heart out because the brother-sister thing is like a thing. I love that. That is an excellent combo. I fully support it. This straw really just makes me feel really extra. Hold on, let me turn this so that I show off the logo. There we go. This is, again, not paid advertisements, but... Rainforest Cafe, a wild place to eat and shop. Honestly, though, when we went to Rainforest Cafe down in Disney, at Disney Springs, they had fried They had it was pickle fries is what they called them. They were fried pickles, but they were cut in little thin like shoestring strips, and battered and fried that way. Oh my god, they were amazing. I find that the best fried pickles are the ones that you just get crunch and the pickle flavor. You don't get like I don't want it to remind me that it is a pickle. I want it to be like a burst of anyway. Those are the ones that I like when they're just like crispy and fried. Honestly, it was a game changer. Honestly. Anyway, I gotta stop sucking this down. Let me pull out my notes, which I'm not really using a lot of notes for. Open up the thing and nope, shoot. Come on. Thank you. Turn this down. You're here for the positive commentary? Well, we'll see if it keeps coming. I mean, honestly, this last session that we had was pretty great in a lot of different ways. I do have criticisms, don't get me wrong, I do have criticisms, but I was surprised at some of the things that I saw. The biggest one of which is that this depiction of fictional Salem, which it is very much fictional, because the courthouse does not look like this. There is a museum that looks like this over here, which there is a museum that looks like this. It's the original. It's the original Salem Town Hall. So this is kind of right. This plaza doesn't actually exist. There is a plaza like this, very much like this, with a big statue in the middle, but it is not of the founder of Salem or the first settler of Salem or anything like that. It is actually the it's the Bewitched statue, but obviously they can't have, you know, they can't license Bewitched to throw the statue in here. There is no cemetery that's right over here, you know, with it. Some of the things within the cemetery are not right. The Hathorn House is not real. The Hathorn House is based on the House of the Seven Gables, which was written about by Judge Hathorn's more famous ancestor, Hawthorne. Oh my God, Scarlet Letter. Having a moment. Writer Nathaniel. Thank you, Nathaniel Hawthorne. So it's based on the House of the Seven Gables. It's not the House of the Seven Gables, though, because Judge Hathorne never lived in it. Relatives of Nathaniel Hawthorne lived in it, and he stayed with them at one point, and then he wrote about it and set that as the house that a judge lived in that presided over a fictional version of the Salem witch trial. Anyway, so that's kind of where all that comes from. There's a lot. But yeah, let me respond to some of this. Thank you. I do not know how to pronounce your name. Bad Aim Queen. Ah. Rating me. Thank you. That was very kind of you. Oh, wow. I'm sorry, CJ. Well, I mean, I guess I don't know why I'm saying sorry to you. I'm sorry to her, mostly, that she had to deal with that. That's a lot. I can't say that I hate it. I think there are some kind of clunky aspects, this navigation. I understand that they wanted to kind of keep things similar to the older games, but between that and this, like, I'm annoyed that my way forwards is this and that, you know, like, I can't do anything with this over here. I have to go forward, turn, and then go over here, instead of, I don't know, they're like, the camera controls are a little wonky, but I like that. I like what they're trying to do. And the puzzles are a little weak. I'll say the puzzles are weak. So far, at least, but pretty cool. How many gables does the house have? Excellent. Excellent question. Perfect. Perfect, amazing, awesome. Wow. That... wow. I don't even know what to say. Talented, brilliant, never the same. I love that gif. Oh my god. But yeah, no. So the things that I like about this game so far, to quickly recap them for people who weren't watching the first stream, aka CJ. I'm just kidding. For people who weren't here for the first stream, here's some couple of things that I do like about this. All right. Number one, their depiction of a fictional Salem. Like I said, this is not real Salem. It is fictional. Is pretty good, honestly. The graphics are a pretty good update. You know, they're not quite AAA level, but independent studio, sure, I'll take it. So their depiction of a fictional downtown Salem, I do like it. There's a lot here that is at least well researched and, you know, if not accurate. Honestly, even just the fucking sinkhole over here is great because our roads are absolute shit. What else? The woman next to the hay bales. Oh yes, I have. Oh, don't worry, I have absolutely. Oh, we have another spot for a pumpkin. The woman next to the hay bales is great.
Why are there protesters in a small town like this?
It's just. I don't even know what to say. She's great. Someone just grabbed their phone, recorded it in their house, like...
Why are there protesters in a small town like this?
I don't know who she is. Why she's staring at the hay bales. specifically just staring away at the protesters, but she's talking about them. It's great. So one of the things that I wonder about this is that I believe the studio that they contracted with to help them with Unity is a Russian game studio. So I'm wondering if that's one of the Russian game developers that's just threw in her thing, or a contest winner. Okay. That makes sense too.
Why are there protesters in a small town like this?
The accent could be like Hispanic of some kind, perhaps? I don't know. She fell down a well before she recorded. So true. Oh my god. Anyway, going back. Other things that I like about this game. The social justice aspect of it, I love that. I absolutely love it. Oh my god, it's great. Like, we start out with feminism, and then we talk, like, feminism, we talk about persecution, we talk about, reparations. There we go. That word took a little too long. We talk about reparations. We talk about racism and slavery and the history that's just stuck here in New England, which is very much a thing and conscious in a lot of people's minds. But also, you deal with, some of the. I don't know if this one over here. See, this is where the this loses me.
Ooh, should we take the witch tour?
No, that's not what I was thinking of.
What's the big holdup? The Perry brat has always been a little fire starter.
Only a matter of time until the neighborhood watch catches her red-handed.
The system has gone soft.
Oh, right.
Lets
the
them off the
neighborhood
hook easy.
watch.
Then
That's
everyone
right.
acts surprised about repeated offenders.
These
They better book her
definitely
before
sound
Halloween.
pretty.
I don't want to let the kids out trick-or-treating with an arsonist on the loose.
This sounds North Shore Towny. I'm gonna be honest. Like, that certain level of Karen, and I don't know what his name is, but I can guess one of the 5 possibilities. It's either AJ, CJ, Anthony, or Mike. Another great Chris Fleming video that I'm David. This is another great Chris Fleming video that I'm quoting is homophobic Massachusetts townies. It's absolutely great. Homophobic Massachusetts townies. They're all holding the can of Natty Ice. Oh my god. It's funny to me because there's like, I'll link the video. I'm gonna link the video because it's hilarious. And if you get a chance and you want to watch it, it's great. Here we go. Like, this is just such the majesty of homophobes in makeup tutorials. It's such a good video. This St. Patty's Day, find out if the towny homophobe with tiny hands can still ride with the crew. Starring CJ, AJ, FJ, PJ, CJ, Anthony, and Mike. They all own landscape companies with aggressive sounding names like Elite Mowers. Boobs, beer, always watching the sports. Anyway, okay, so yeah, no, the themes in this game are very good. I like that we're kind of tracking some of the ancestors of the families, the Perrys being the Parises. This woman whose name I'm forgetting, being a descendant of Tituba. Hawthorne, stuff like that. Like, each one of these characters so far has had a connection to Salem that is deeper than it seems, and I like that. Other things that I like. Oh yeah, what's her face in here? I don't remember anyone's name. It's great. The woman in here, whose name I can't remember. Billy? I'm streaming, guys. Can we just, like, not right now? I love having upstairs neighbors. This woman here, Salem born and raised, as she says, and she threw out Wicked. She said Wicked. Olivia Ravencroft. That's right. She threw out wicked. It was great. She was like, oh, that's wicked great. And I'm like, that is how you use that word. That is how New Englanders use that word. Wicked is a huge part of our lexicon, and it will never die. As long as I am alive, I will make sure my children say wicked. So I really enjoy that. I like some of these callbacks to other games. Like,
Hey there, girl. Can't
that
tell if you're
thing.
supposed to be cute or creepy.
It never was cute. It was never cute. The character models are much better. I kind of like that. The lip syncing is pretty good. The animation cycles I'm not a fan of. I will say that. They kind of cycle through pretty regularly. Other things. So that's kind of getting everybody up to date as to what I feel about this game so far. Big criticisms being the puzzles are really simplistic. This navigation can be very clunky at times. Oh right, I went in there because... Oh, how am I forgetting the best part about this game? The pumpkins! I am the pumpkin fiend. You can carve pumpkins and put them around the world. Pumpkins! It's pumpkin time. We're here for pumpkins. I mean, this is the best feature. I'm gonna make a tall boy. Let's buy the protesters, so we'll make him angry.
Done. This looks great. Now to find a nice place to put it.
I don't know if that's allowed, but because I'm a drag queen, you can be the Pumpkin King and I'll be the Pumpkin Queen. Fine. Fine. I think people do underestimate the true love of pumpkins and Halloween that New Englanders have, and a lot of the reason is because of places like Salem. 100%. Oop.
Yes.
I love pumpkins. And the official term is not pumpkin, it is pumpkin. Punkin. Well, fun fact. I also must say I appreciate that they just ripped the BMW model and just got rid of the logo. That I really appreciate. This is blatantly a BMW. And they do in fact come in that color. And it is disgusting. I'm glad that you and I had the same exact thought, CJ, because as soon as I saw that you could make pumpkins, I was like, that's it. My goal in this game, this stream, is to cover this entire town in pumpkins. This is pumpkin, total everything pumpkin. So, Sigfats are literally Pumpkin King. Excellent. Excellent.
No, not today. I can't. There's too much to do.
Oh, look at this
Come
boy.
on, take a break. You need it.
Oh, I
Jason,
also do like that they
I have had these
redesigned.
protesters outside my window
They
nonstop for
redesigned
days.
Frank
I
and
must
Joe to
deal
be
with
like
this situation. The longer
Twink
it goes on,
and
the worse
Jock.
it looks.
it was
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Yeah,
But I'm buying lunch.
You're buying? Really? With what?
You
with
gotta
what?
get over
bitch?
this, Dad. It's not good for you. It's not healthy.
What are you talking
Ugh.
about?
You resent me.
I don't resent you,
Twonk.
Jason. Miss
Excellent.
Drew, please come in. We'll talk
I've been
later,
in the
okay?
whole time.
Oh, you have time for her, but not for me.
Please, Jason.
Hi.
Jason.
Jason Danforth.
Nancy Drew.
Those
Nancy
eyebrows, girl.
Drew.
You can get those trimmed.
You're visiting Salem, yeah? What do you think? Kind of a boring town beneath all the legends.
Jason, come on. We have a meeting.
Actually, it seems like there's a lot going on here.
Well, whenever you're up for some real excitement, look me up.
Wow. Okay, so that's
I'm
now
sorry.
two
He's
characters that are
still
aggressively
trying to
into
figure out what
Nancy
he wants
right
to
now.
do with his life.
Didn't wanna
Olivia
follow in
and
his father's
Jason.
footsteps.
My God,
Oh, he tried. Didn't have the dedication to follow through with
that
his
was
schooling.
blatant.
Anyway,
I mean,
get
okay,
started.
yeah. Can we talk about the fact that that Ned is in a freaking Venetian strip club? And I know because Nancy used to work in a Venetian strip club, and I know exactly what they sound like. It's using the same soundtrack from the strip club in Venice, and it's just a
As
lot.
you know, I want to investigate the crime scene. Could you give me the code for the keypad?
that information isn't usually available to the public. I'm afraid I can't just take your word for it. I'll have it taken care of.
That sounds like a I'm gonna break in moment.
As you know,
That is always
I want
a
to
bad
investigate
boy.
the crime scene. Could you give me the code for the keypad?
That information isn't usually available to the public. I'm afraid I can't just take your word for it. I'll have it taken care of.
I don't know what that means. I'll have it taken care of, but I'm gonna just go in anyway.
Miss Drew, how can I help you?
Hi, Miss Cole.
Alicia, please.
Oh, same. Nancy.
Great. So what do you need, Nancy? Any more paper clips, staplers, or perhaps a hammer drill?
I'm more of a pneumatic nail gun type myself.
Oof,
Ha
all right.
ha, nice.
You have a hammer drill in here.
In my closet. I'm a bit of a home improvement junkie. You have to be when you live in a house built in the 1800s.
Oh,
Well,
yes, you do.
thanks, but I don't
Or
need
you get
any
stuck
of
in a
those
house like
things.
this, built in the 1800s,
I do have
where
some questions,
the
though.
landlord doesn't upkeep
You mind
it
if I take
properly,
5
and then you
minutes
end
of your
up
time?
Please.
Fucking
I don't mind.
fighting with the mice.
I just met Jason Danforth.
What did you think? Kinda cute, huh?
Oh.
Not the adjective I would use.
Oh, Nancy.
Different tastes.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think he's kind of like a fast food cheeseburger with extra cheese. And I'm more of a home-cooked meal kind of gal.
What can I say?
Okay, she is
I love
going
cheese.
hard,
So you know him
Nancy.
well?
My
I know.
God.
He does odd jobs
The
for me sometimes.
shade.
Doesn't hurt that he's
I
easy
don't have
on
my
the eyes.
fan here.
He is kinda dumb though.
Damn. That would
I
be a
wouldn't
Thorpe
really know,
moment.
to be honest.
Listen, spare yourself the headache and just avoid him. Trust me, not much substance. He loves his car. That's all you really need to know.
And then Alicia's out here being like, wow, we are just reading the children. He loves his car. That's all you need to know. Woo! Oh my God, I didn't know we were going to jump right into it when we got into the stream. But I am going to need one of my fans. I need one of my fans, I'm sorry. If we're going to be reading, all right, the library's open. I have the perfect fan for this. As long as it doesn't leave me with a bunch of black enamel like it did over the summer, we're good. Okay. Yep. There we go. Oh man. Yeah, she's a little cougar at the moment, isn't she? A little great. Isn't that fan great? It's the official Thorpe fan from Katya's website. It is the official Thorpe. My biggest issue and why I don't use it a whole lot is that if you're holding it a lot, this black enamel just like gets all over your hands. It's very annoying. Let me see if they still have them online. I know they have plenty of fans that say Thorpe, but like, this was the official Katya fan. I don't think it was on the We Love Katya though. It was, we're seeing Katya Show Shop, I think. Nope. Nope. They don't have it anymore. I don't know where you would find it. It is an awesome onomatopoeia. It's perfect. I do absolutely love it. But now that we got our fan ready, let's keep going.
Do you know Lauren
We're gonna read the whole town.
Owner of Luminous Infusions. Resident of the Hathorn Estate Carriage House.
So do you know her?
Absolutely. I represent her.
I know.
How's the case going?
Well, that's a bit of a confidentiality issue. But
Okay.
you are the daughter of a lawyer.
That does not mean you can talk about it.
Without a will, there is no case.
You should not be
No one
talking
has
about
been
it, but
able to
okay.
find it.
And without the will, the house goes to the state.
The law is the law. I can try to get a delay. But we've already delayed twice, and the state doesn't care that someone lives there. It's a tough world out there.
I spoke with Lauren. She mentioned you have a key
A key?
to the Hathorn house.
It's the only copy. Don't lose it.
Just gave it to me.
Oh,
Okay, sure.
and this really isn't supposed to be in your hands.
And not
If someone
supposed to be
finds
in
you with it, I might have to say you stole it.
I'll make sure to be discreet.
Wow.
Thanks.
Okay,
Here to
she's
help,
ready
Nancy.
to throw me under the bus.
Hey, next time, please knock before entering, okay?
Why? What the fuck? Okay.
Why did you bring your hammer drill to the office?
Well, after the burglary, we realized that this place was in dire need of higher security.
So you have the
I ordered
drill
the
ready
keypad
to go.
online and used the drill to mount it. I just keep forgetting to bring the drill back home with me.
That's impressive.
Yeah, still ended up calling a professional when the
Yeah,
thing
you
wouldn't
can't
stop
knock
beeping.
on the door.
I'm sure you've heard about the burglary in the court's evidence room.
Yes, unbelievable. You know, I've started asking myself, what is happening to this town? It used to be such a safe place. And now we have arson and break-ins. I'm worried there's a pattern of
I hate to
escalation
tell you,
here.
but Salem's not that
is this
safe.
the kind of place I want to raise children in?
Oh, you're trying to start a family.
I mean, yes. But with the amount that I work, when is there any time?
I mean,
barely have
Salem
enough
is
time to
like
do my
safe
hair in the morning.
comparatively to,
Let alone go on a date
Like,
after work.
I don't know,
And to be honest,
some other places
the type of
like,
people living in a place like Salem
I
is,
don't know,
well, not really what I'm into. How about you?
that's such a
I
weird
have a
thing
boyfriend.
to say.
Really?
Yeah,
He doesn't accompany you on
Chelsea
your
Lynn.
investigative trips?
Well, he's in college right
outside
now.
of Lowell, no.
And we see each other when we can.
Lowell's pretty
Uh-huh.
safe
You've
at
been
this
dating
point.
long?
They've-
Yeah. A couple of years.
Okay.
No one said it was easy.
Okay.
We figure out how to make it work.
All I'll say is, most men don't understand what we go through. We have to fight to get a seat at their table, and then they want us to go home and be family makers. Some unsolicited advice from one working woman to another? Don't let his plans get in the way of yours.
Of course. They don't.
Whew.
You know who has
We're getting
access
heavy
to
tonight.
the evidence room.
As
Here
far
we
as I know,
go.
just myself and the
Here
judge.
we go.
That's interesting.
Look, I don't like saying this, but the judge occasionally leaves the evidence room unlocked. The man even locked himself in his own office, for pity's sake.
All right.
Not that it matters. I was
Alright.
told the burglar came from the outside.
So it's safe to say you weren't here during the theft.
Are you liking me for this crime, Nancy?
No, I don't like anyone for this crime. Or any other crime for that matter. Just doing my
She
research.
is telling me a lot.
I was not
yeah.
here. I was running errands around town. Busy, busy, busy.
Do you happen to have the code
She's
for
just
the
gonna tell
evidence
me
room
this, too.
door?
Nope, sorry. He hasn't given that to me yet. And knowing him, he's probably already lost it.
Doing some follow-ups with the arson. Where were you that night?
Are you asking for my alibi?
Yep.
Well, yes. if you
Okay.
don't
Thank you,
mind.
Nancy, for being
I
as
was at a
forthright as
charity
I am.
fundraiser, saving the piping plovers. Anyone in this town that works in an official capacity can
Piping
vouch for me.
plovers?
Are you
It's more of
interviewing
a
any of them?
Kate thing.
I don't think I'll
But
need
okay.
to.
I'm a little bit surprised you'd even ask.
Just being thorough.
I take care
I
of
can
it.
respect that.
Yeah. Yeah, piping plovers are like a Cape thing. I mean, are they up in the North Shore as well? I thought they were pretty much a national seashore. Because national seashore is actually, like, protected.
What did you mean when you said the people here are not
Oh,
your
okay.
type?
Well, Plum
Oh,
Island,
you
that makes
probably
sense.
know by now. You've been around town, right?
I have.
It's all people with minds as small as the town itself. I don't mean to sound harsh, but you can only meet so many with the same mindset before you see a pattern.
Woo!
That's
She's going for the townies,
interesting.
North Shore.
Did something happen?
Oh, nothing much.
Racist.
Sometimes
you
I
mean.
just wish this place would be a bit bigger, you know?
I mean,
more
Boston
progressive.
is.
Imagine a revitalized town.
Do you think that could happen?
Boston is just on a
woman
very
can
short
dream.
Purple Line drive. Hop on the train, really quick and easy.
Would you mind telling me what you were doing
That
3
hard.
days ago?
3 days ago. All day or...
Well, any info would be helpful.
Actually, why are you interested in this?
I was in Austria 3 days ago and witnessed a theft of a historical artifact there that, surprisingly, I believe is connected to this theft.
I see. I was talking to your father about that case.
Really?
Yeah. We
Okay.
chat sometimes. About work.
I didn't know
Mostly.
there was a connection,
Okay.
but apparently there's a
Ask him.
connection.
Sure.
You're a regular sleuth, aren't you? Picking up
Right.
other cases now?
Not exactly. It's kind of related to the Hathorn house.
Yeah, let's see. I was home watching Jason cut the stump out of my front yard.
You hired Jason Danforth for that?
He's cheap, and he can't say no because he needs the money.
Ha!
Plus, I kind of like watching him suffer a little.
Ah!
I wouldn't know why.
Excellent.
You know, I could use someone like you. A lawyer is always in need of a good private investigator.
Oh.
If your father would be okay with you working for someone else.
Alicia, I'm my own woman. I work for myself.
You're
You've
gonna
been
tell that
very
to Frank and
helpful,
Joe,
and
right?
I really appreciate it.
Good. Well, when you solve this case, let's talk.
See you later.
That's the second job offer that Nancy's had? Like, okay.
I need to get Judge Danforth's permission before I investigate the burglary.
Oh boy, here we go. Speak to me. What's up, Dick? Oh god, is Ned gonna come over here too? Vacation can wait. Okay, so he's on vacation. I'm still trying to figure out why you want to answer my phone calls. Was there a point to this? Okay. Nope. Okay, hold on.
As you know,
Information isn't usually.
Okay. Well, we have a lead we can use here.
What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. What do we want?
a specter may be hanging over Salem. But that doesn't keep the town from getting into the Halloween spirit.
Excuse you, a specter hanging over Salem lets Salem get into the Halloween spirit. And that's literally the point of Salem's Halloween spirit. Obviously. This is Nancy's first time in Salem, obviously. We have not seen Ned LaFone
Nancy, hey, how's the investigation
in
going?
3D.
Pretty well. You know, it would really help if I could get May to talk to me.
She hasn't given her alibi yet.
No. And everyone seems to have one, except her.
Everyone? Is it possible that it could be someone from outside of town? A visitor or something?
Absolutely. But statistically speaking, crime is rarely a random occurrence.
It's a
I think so,
mystery
yeah.
to me. You have anything you wanted to talk about?
Holy shit, okay, I didn't know we were gonna have to talk to her that much. Alright,
What's
here we
the
go.
history behind the Hathorn estate?
Right. Well, Judge John Hathorn was born and raised in Salem. His father was a decorated military man who had many real estate holdings throughout New England. And when Judge Hathorn became a justice, he tried to expand those holdings. Much of the land that the Hathorn estate was built on was actually seized property from accused witches.
So awful. I think the land stealing part was even mentioned in Olivia's tour.
Didn't expect her to actually care about the history.
Hypo, I'm gonna have to take a look at that.
At the time, no one made the connection, not even in court documents. But it happened.
Do you think the fire is somehow related to Salem's history with witches?
What do you mean?
Like, is it meant as a symbolic gesture? Because that's how most witches died?
That was a European thing. No, they were more civilized in the New World. We hung our witches. Short drop, so they slowly choked to death. A couple more died in custody awaiting trial, and one, an elderly man who refused to testify, was pressed to death.
Pressed?
Yeah. They put a bunch of heavy stones on top of you.
They put a plank
over
and
a
then a bunch
period
of
of
heavy
days.
stones.
That's horrible.
Like a
She did
large
not know
sheet
the
of
weight
wood
until
that
she
they
felt the
built
freedom.
or something like that.
Scarlet Letter. Also a descendant of Judge Hathorne.
Nathaniel
Except
Hawthorne.
Nathaniel Hawthorne was so horrified with his family's history that he added a W to change it.
Wow.
Accurate.
The focus on descendants isn't really something they teach you in school.
Yep. We think our world is so much more advanced now, but we have a hard time escaping our past.
Whew, that isn't too real. Oh man. All right.
Where were you on the night of the fire?
I was at my boyfriend's watching a movie. Here, this is his number. You can ask him.
Have you been dating Damien for a long time?
Yeah, a couple years, I think. I like him. I mean, I really do. He listens to me, and yeah, he's great.
Was he with you the whole night?
I mean,
Sure
most
about
of the night. I don't think he's capable of arson, if that's what you're suggesting.
That's not what
You
I'm
trust
suggesting.
him?
Absolutely, 100%. Go ahead, call him. You'll see.
I feel like that might have been a small, like, yellow flag in the relationship
There was
there.
this photo tucked away in the
Thanks.
guest room.
Now I'm really embarrassed. Such an awkward age.
Is that Olivia and Lauren in the picture with you?
Yeah, we were pretty tight back then. Had to take pictures.
At all.
I couldn't tell where it was taken. Do you remember? There were lots of books and candles.
It was probably the... I don't know. Books and candles are everywhere in Salem. It could be anywhere.
You know what? Sure. I like him. He's
it was
alright.
years ago. I don't really remember.
We've been dating for like a couple years, I think. Maybe, kind of. He's okay.
How did Francis Tuttle come to own the property?
Ms. Tuttle bought it 30 years ago, cheap. It was falling apart. The former owners couldn't be located, so it was auctioned. She was a bit of a kooky lady living in a ruin like that, but she was kind. I mean, she took in Lauren like a daughter. That says something about someone, doesn't it?
I mean,
I
I'd be down
agree.
for that plot twist.
Deirdre only mentioned it in passing, but
Dee
you
Dee.
and Olivia used to be friends?
We were, and I guess it doesn't hurt to mention that Lauren was a part of our little group as well. But that was years ago.
So you don't get along now?
Things changed.
How could you forget
Did
that Dee Dee's
something
here? She
happen?
followed
I
us
don't
like
see why
literally
this is
like
relevant.
this.
Aren't you supposed to be clearing my sister's name? She doesn't need more blame for things she didn't do.
What did she get the blame for before?
She stopped
This
side by
town
side
wants
thing within
someone
a
to blame
day.
for everything. She's different and gets singled out.
I want to know more about anyone who might have a motive for the fire,
I'm still trying to figure out
Maybe
how
you can
different
help if
she
you know
is other
them,
than having
even
them
as old
burned.
friends.
I guess.
Like-
Go on.
What can you tell me about Olivia?
What can I tell you about Olivia? I can tell you that I think her shtick is ridiculous. And that she's doing this town a disservice by selling this silly idea of broomsticks in this double toil and trouble version of witches. This is a place of real history, and she wants
This
it
is
to be
a regular
theme park.
debate in Salem.
Do you think she would have burned down the Hathorne house?
I suppose it would be good for business. People love a ruin.
Well,
Especially a haunted ruin.
She is pretty happy lighting
So-
fires. But I don't know. I only want my sister cleared.
I mean,
I
that's
know.
the thing.
We're getting there. I
Salem's
can't help but think about
witch
the
history
rumor
and the
Olivia
kind of
talks about.
Halloweenification
You
of
shouldn't
witches
pay any attention to her stories. She just says whatever
It
she thinks the crowd wants.
brings the town a shitload
Real
of
history isn't interesting to Olivia.
So you never heard this rumor elsewhere?
I wish you
I
could
didn't
stop
say
talking so
that.
I could respond to you
There are
guys.
no witches in Salem. Just showy frauds and stupid kids doing stupid things. Don't trouble
Oh.
yourself with ancient history and rumors. There's a real kid in trouble who needs your help.
Wow, you really are talking for a long time. Okay, all right. There's no war in Bossing Safe. Very true. The thing about Salem that is, slight point of contention is that they keep talking about it like it's this really tiny small town where everybody knows everyone. It's not quite that small. It is like I come from a town of about 15,000 people in New Hampshire originally, and I would consider that to be a medium town, to be honest, because I didn't know everyone. My mother knows everyone, but she works as like in a dental office and sees everyone anyway. But yeah, Salem as a town Salem is a city, but cities and towns in New England are really have nothing to do about size and more to do about government. A city is a mayor, an elected mayor, and then a town has elected town selectmen, a board of selectmen instead. Anyway, Salem, Massachusetts is a town of probably just shy of 42,000 people. And it is so densely packed with Marblehead and Peabody right next to it that, like, it's, yeah. So when everyone's talking about, like, it's such a small town, I don't understand why she's being so singled out because she's different. I'm like, okay, she can't be the only person who has a burn in Salem. Like, this is a pretty large space. I don't know. But at the same time, if you're comparing it to, like, Boston, it is small. So even comparing it to, like, some of the bigger cities around Salem, like Lynn or, you know, going up to Portsmouth, New Hampshire, for instance. I think Portsmouth is much larger. So, I mean, that's just, I don't know. Yeah, Portsmouth. Oh no, Portsmouth is actually a lot smaller than I thought it was. Whoa. Really? 22,000 people? Damn. Okay, I take it back. Portsmouth is a lot smaller than I thought. But yeah, I can actually talk about that really quick. Weird quirk about New England and government, local government especially. A town is just a government that has a board of selectmen, and the selectmen repeatedly go up for election, and they make decisions for the town. A city is a elected mayor, and the mayor then appoints a board as well, kind of more like an executive would. That's the only difference between towns and cities in New England. Has nothing to do with population size. Probably the best example that I can give is that I was from a town of 15,000 people or so. Town, very much town. Further north in New Hampshire, actually perhaps the most north that you could get pretty much, was the city of Berlin. The city of Berlin in New Hampshire is a city of about 10,000 people. So it is smaller than my hometown and is a city. It's just, it gets weird. So, and yeah, we've got like weird things that come up sometimes, villages that are inside of towns and, you know, uphills both ways. Don't joke about that. Don't joke about that, Ragnarok. We went to the same school for undergrad. We both did go uphill in the snow both ways to class because that campus absolutely made it possible. God, it's just so many hills. It's just because there were so many hills in campus that you would eventually have to go up another hill anywhere you were going. Maybe the most famous, MC Escher University. Oh my God. Yeah, Library Hill. You knew exactly what I was talking about right away. Library Hill. So, the library on our undergrad campus was a 5-story tall building with a basement. All right. The original entrance to the library was on the first floor. For those not in the United States, we don't have a ground floor and then first floor. We have a first floor, second floor, and you walk in on the first floor. So originally, the entrance was here on the first floor. We'll say, you know, it was on this side in the back of what is now the library. The renovation in the 1990s moved the entrance to this side, where it would face the street and face the quad. So instead of the entrance being on the first floor, the entrance now had to be on the third floor. They literally had, or was it the basement in the first floor? It was like third floor. But yeah, it's literally like a hill that spans 3 or 4 stories of this building. And it is a very short hill that you have to walk up, and it is... I used to have to open the library during snowstorms. It is hell. Like, trying to basically climb up the hill. Even though it's paved, paved doesn't matter because it's covered in snow and ice, and you're like crawling up the hill. People are skiing down past you because it's a snow day. Have some fun skiing sled. But like, I had literal ice crampons for my boots to walk around campus because that is just how bad it was. Oh my god. Or you go around, yeah, in which case you're gonna be late. Like, especially trying to get back and forth from work to the arts building, to get from the library to the arts building where my classes were. I would just have to like either fly down the hill or run up the stairs, and you just died. You just died. Oh god.
What can you tell me about Lauren?
Lauren is a piece of work.
Whoa.
Olivia may pretend to be a witch, but Lauren thinks she's a witch, you know? They are as bad as each other.
Wow.
The real legacy and history of Salem is what's important, not over-the-top stories and hokey potions and lotions.
I mean, she's using
So
like
you don't go to her
homeopathic
shop?
solutions.
I've never been in, but I've had the tea. My advice? Stay away from the Senna Leaf. Can ruin your whole day.
Do you
Okay,
think she would burn
wow.
down Hathorn House?
I don't know. Maybe.
The creepy
She
path
thought
behind
it
the
would help her
mob. Oh
stay
my
on the
god.
grounds.
Go
She certainly
underneath
doesn't
the
want
bridge.
anyone else having it, even if there are historical and legal reasons. But like I said, I don't really know her that well anymore.
Go off. Okay.
Do you remember what you were doing 3 nights ago?
3 days ago? Well, I was probably working here. Why?
You were working at the museum. Can anyone confirm that?
Well, I'm always here.
But was anyone else here?
May was home all day, laying low, and Olivia wasn't here either. I don't know where she was, to be honest. You'll have to ask her.
So no one can confirm that? And you're sure May was
She's
at
a
home?
literal witch,
She's
but I don't
barely
know her
left the
that
house since the
well.
incident. People here treat her like
God.
she has an infectious disease. It's awful. And I don't blame her if she wants to sit at home on her phone all day. Ugh. Her parents need to come home. Soon. So, I gotta ask. What do you get out of this?
I get a lot.
Really? You travel around, talk to all these people, deal with all their
I
problems,
feel like this
put yourself in
game
harm's
is
way.
literally questioning
Not
Nancy the whole
always.
time. Like,
Alright,
why are
some of the
you?
time.
Why
I
are
don't
you
know.
you?
It's like there's these small obstacles that I enjoy working on, and they're interesting. But what I really love is the puzzle of humanity. What makes people tick? Why do people do what they do?
I'm gonna live
It's always the hardest one
forever.
to crack, because sometimes we do things that don't make sense. We're inherently irrational. Know what I mean?
You know, there's a theory about why these specific women were persecuted as witches. Some people believe that ergot, which is a fungus that grows in cereal grains, might have gotten into the food supply. It poisons anyone who eats it. Hallucinations, circulation issues, seizures. It would have made people look like they were possessed. Or made the judges think they were doing God's will. Or make the whole town go haywire.
Or maybe
A rational
the town
explanation for
was just
irrational behavior.
Just a theory. We'll never know.
on a bit
Anyway, I don't want to keep you.
of a greedy
Thanks for
binge.
stopping by.
Can you tell me about the accident May was in when she was a kid?
Why do you need to know that? How is it important?
I didn't think
Obviously.
it was, but everyone else sees reason to believe May is the one who burned Hathorn House. So that makes it important, I know.
It started with the arson, and she has other convictions on her juvenile record as well.
What happened?
It was an old shed near our home. May was about 9 or so. She was in it one night. She shouldn't have been. Playing with candles, a lighter, I don't know. It caught fire. She was charged.
She was so young.
I feel
Wait.
responsible.
Wait, what?
She shouldn't even have been
What?
there, and I'm the older sister.
It's not your fault.
What?
I'm sorry to upset you. It helps me to understand.
Just don't talk to May about it, please.
What? Wait, so you're telling me she burned down a shed that was her parents' on her parents' property, and they charged their daughter with arson? What the fuck? Like, she's 9 years old and they charged their own daughter with arson? Why? Like,
Talk to you later.
that, what? Like, that's not how this works. You can't. That's not. These are terrible parents. You shouldn't wait for them to get home. They're terrible people if they charge their own 9-year-old fucking daughter with arson.
You're back. Great.
Lord.
Let me guess. More questions?
Wow, I sense the sass, bitch.
See you later.
Okay. Guess she's not as hot for me anymore. Oh, okay, wait. So we have to go back in, CJ. You mentioned that there's a hilarious. Here we go. Come on. Now on the thing. Okay. I probably saw this and then just glossed over it. Wait a minute. Where in Terminator May 27? I mean, May is not capitalized. It should be, but that's fine. 1992, Judge John Hathorne and Judge Samuel Sewell presiding for examinations. Excerpts from the account of the trials. There's no... Why is there a quotation mark here? That doesn't make any sense. Released on command from the special command of His Excellency the Governor, Sir William Phipps. Judge Hathorne, how say ye in performing the crime of witchcraft, Sarah Good? What evil spirit have you familiarity with? Good none, Judge H. Have you made no contract with the devil? Question mark? No. Capitalized question mark? Sarah G. No. H. Why do you hurt these children? Question mark. I do not hurt them, I scorn them. What creature do you implore them? No question mark again. No creature, but I am falsely accused. We whose names are underwritten verify that we heard the aforesaid Sarah Good on May, February. May, February, 1692. May, February. Is that what you were pointing at? This is just May, February. I enjoy the date of May, February in 1692. Yeah, that one's a bit rough. I don't know what happened there. But that's definitely a thing. May, February. Okay, my personal favorite oopsie in this game is actually... Hold on. My favorite oopsie in this game so far is... this way. Right here. This upside down map of Boston from the 1800s of Boston in the 1700s. Because it's just a lot. I mean, it might be May, February. Probably is. It's May, February 2001. I just enjoy that this map is upside down. I don't know why I enjoy that map is upside down, but I do. It's just fun to me. Yeah, I looked there and I'm like, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. Why is the back bay on the east? That's where... that's not how it works. It was just great. Alright, you prep school. What is he even wearing?
I knew you couldn't resist.
Oh,
Yes,
we're gonna have...
You are correct, Jason.
I could not.
I'm open tomorrow night. Or tonight.
Oh boy.
Right now.
Not so...
How about 3 nights ago?
Wait, we already went on a date?
Definitely not.
No.
Where were you on the night Hathorne House was burned?
Oh, right. I was.
Do you remember?
Yeah, it's coming to me.
Uh-huh.
Primal cut.
I'm sorry.
It's a steakhouse. I was there with my dad. Great steak, very expensive. He'll tell you. So,
Very
we haven't been on a
expensive.
date yet.
Okay.
Does that mean we're going to go on one in the future?
No, thank you.
Okay.
I have another question for you.
Yes, it's true. I'm single.
I actually wanted to know what you were doing 3 days ago.
Are you sure that's what you want to know?
Yes,
I was actually digging out a stump in Alicia Cole's backyard.
you. Digging out a stump.
What? Yeah. Not my favorite pastime, but I can't really say no to the money. I mean, it gives a good tan. Ladies can't say no to a hot bod. You don't believe me? Oh, maybe you should ride with me to the beach. I can show you.
No thanks.
I mean, we could ride to the beach and you could go in the water and I could see how much your balls shrink.
See you later.
Yeah, no. He's an absolute pale motherfucker. I believe in college we called them goodies.
As you know,
Information isn't.
Fine. Don't corroborate your own son's testimony. That's fine. Alright, well, I guess we'll go check out the house. Yeah, that poor pumpkin. They're all yelling at the pumpkin. So I like that they're approaching the idea of reparations. I do think that the protest movement is a little weird, though. Like, I don't get the idea of, like, okay, let's take this house as our property if it's not valuable. Like, I don't know, it's a little weird. So what I want to say about this place is the first thing I thought of for this, seeing this kind of rock figure moment thing, was that I thought this might have been where they actually hung the witches. Because there is actually a spot. It's literally behind a CVS. It's the most depressing thing. It's behind a CVS in Salem, where archaeological evidence suggests that that is actually where they hung all the accused witches in the trials, and it is the most depressing CVS. Absolutely. They have like a memorial there now and everything, though. I think. I'm not gonna. What's with this scarecrow anyway? Who the fuck puts that there?
a wooden decoration portraying snapdragons.
Want to talk about that green stuff that's right here? Green? We need another pumpkin. Ghosts! Aggie. I want a Scooby-Doo moment. Okay. That was pointless, but... there is a crowbar here.
This ought to help me out.
No, we can't go any further this way. And this is where we first saw the ghost. All right,
These
well,
snapdragons are lovely. At least some of them survived the fire.
okay. That feels a little bit like Chekhov's gun. Someone's gonna bring that up at some point. I'm gonna rush back and get a pumpkin. What's that way? Nothing? Yeah. I don't know why they made places for you to explore that don't have any reason to explore. Yeah, that's one thing that I do like about this game. They kept Kleptomania Nancy. I mean, it's important.
The Salem Museum.
Nope, we don't need to. Okay. 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 regular round boy. I'm out of drink. I want like an ooh girl.
Done. This looks great. Now to find a nice place to put it.
Yeah, the nose choices are a little weak. But, you know, I'm okay with that. I mean, I have to like stop myself from making the classic looking jack-o'-lantern over and over again every single time. Because I'm like, it looks perfect. It's classic. There's a reason it works. Look at this slide. Look at this asshole over here. Motherfucker.
That's beautiful.
Well, now it's saying that, now Nancy's saying that's beautiful, it actually makes sense. Minor criticism for a very fabulous feature, indeed. Honestly, they picked the right game to introduce it. Okay. Okay. Boop!
Yes!
Yeah. Pumpkin. Pumpkins! Okay, what do we got?
Locked.
I mean, it's locked.
The key should fit, but the door and lock are awry. The door needs more leverage.
Leverage, you say? Like breaking and entering Nancy.
Now
Go!
this is more like it.
Yeah, she really is just gonna break and enter, isn't she? Or
There we go. Now it fits.
now it fits.
A brand new jacket? Who would leave this behind?
And then it's okay, and it's still there, even though we took it. Nope. Hey, what are you doing? Wanted to look closer at the Nancy. Okay, no.
Francis Tuttle needed this medical machine to stay alive.
There must be something
I
on the other side
wonder
of the
what will
wall.
happen to it now.
Because that was a picture.
The walls are still smoldering from the fire. It's making my eyes water.
So stare at it some more.
There's something peculiar about this mirror.
The fact that you can't see yourself in it?
Someone painted laurels on the mirror glass. But why?
It?
An old secretary desk. Roaring 20s, maybe.
Secret compartment that you can totally see. Dear Lauren, you came to me midwinter and made me each day feel brightest. Like a lion, I cared for my new cub, even though sometimes she could be stubborn like an ox. In the month where spring stirs, excuse me, I revealed your heritage to you. On the day of Samhain, we remembered our ancestors. Now I wish for you to choose, make this house your home, or be free of this burden. Forever yours, Francis Tuttle. Well, I mean, the will is in the house. Okay. We knew that, but okay.
A letter written in Francis Tuttle's own hand.
It's Parklepire. Oh my god. You gonna talk about this? No? Nancy? You gonna talk about this? I want to talk about that. Important. It's showing up all over the place. That's an important symbol. Oy, alright.
The entire second floor has burned down. Looks unstable. Not going any further than this.
Snapdragons and laurels have both been mentioned. You are correct. Oh, right, I'm supposed to inspect this. Brand new jacket moment.
Oh, hello. A business card.
From Ravencroft Witch Tours. See if we can get any more information from this. I mean, that's pretty important, but we're not going to talk about it anyway. The burn thing? No. Okay. And here we are. That must be the machine.
Francis Tuttle needed this.
Oh, bugs. Ew. Bugs. I haven't seen any laurels, though. This is true. But yeah, the Snapdragons do feel a little bit like Chekhov's gun at this moment. So it's very much like this is going to be important. Be ready. Oh, 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 oh.
It's dusty.
That's nice. Pick up the mail.
It's...
Hidden in the fireplace? No?
it's...
Nancy's not really looking at anything else. I feel like I'm missing something.
An old...
Can't open the secretary desk? It's an odd thing. The letter say again. Came to me midwinter and made each day feel brightest. Like a lion, I cared for my new cub, even sometimes she could be stubborn like an ox. The month where spring stirs revealed your heritage to you. On the day of Samhain, we remembered our ancestors. Now I wish for you to choose, make this house your home or be free of this burden. That feels like there's clues in there. Let me double check those. Under the, yeah. Damn it. Come on, work with me. No, yeah, you
Francis
can't click on
Tuttle
that.
needed...
Nothing under the bed. I mean, there's lots of stuff there. We just can't do anything with it. Interesting. Odd and interesting. We know the will is in the house, not on the grounds. Or at least it was in the house. Whether it burned or whether someone stole it is a whole different issue altogether.
I just have a couple more things I wanted to ask you. What kind of...
Oh, right, that starts the shoot. Well...
Lauren, need some help?
Yes.
Okay, this one, unbearable memory conditions. What's the one for memory that we figured out again? Yeah,
Sage.
Good.
moderate anxiety, slight high blood pressure. bit of garlic. And anxiety. 2 chamomiles.
Chamomile. Ginger.
No, this isn't right. Remember to read the patient's note.
Garlic.
I'll finish with the rest.
There we go.
Great work.
Wrong. Moderate indigestion.
Sorry. You're gonna have to start over.
Good.
Sweet margarine.
Oh.
Garlic.
Right.
Garlic.
No, this isn't right. Sorry. You're gonna have to start over. This won't work.
Anxiety. Indigestion is not that.
Good job. I feel like you've proven yourself capable enough to start mixing with a more serious herb.
Oh.
Thank you. I'm always up for a challenge.
Are you talking
This
about
one
weed?
isn't used too often.
It's weed.
modern name is aster.
Oh, okay.
But in the book, you will find it under the old name, starwort. My supply is short, so don't use it unless you have to.
I will keep that in mind.
Okay, nausea, anxiety, and liver conditions. Well, nausea and anxiety. No, and then liver conditions. That's the question. Our Lady's Thistle.
Our Lady's.
You're gonna have to start over.
Yeah.
This won't work for those ailments. I'll finish with the rest.
Okay.
Great work.
This is nauseous ginger. I like indigestion and nausea are somewhat so close to each other. You can really honestly use ginger for both of them. So garlic is weird. Anyway, indigestion, as we now know, is garlic. Memory conditions was no.
You're gonna have to start over. This won't work for those.
No. Right, no. Okay, all right. No. I know it won't work for those ailments. You don't let me go back. That's the problem.
I'll finish with the rest. Great
Okay.
work.
Pepto-Bismol. Right? Oh, man. Unbearable liver.
Good job.
Indigestion.
Good job.
Migraines. There's migraines again. Migrants. Feverfew.
Sweet marjoram. Ginger. Feverfew.
Good.
How many more of these do I do?
I'll finish with the rest. Great work.
Can we be done? Okay. This is earning me nothing. Unbearable liver conditions. Go to the hospital.
I just have a cup. See you later.
Yeah. Okay. I see a candle that doesn't have a pumpkin on it. Pumpkin, 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 pumpkin. And since it's on the statue of the big angry white guy, we're gonna make a big angry pumpkin. Bam! Evil pumpkin for evil white settlers. Unbearable memory problems. I mean, depending on what they are, that's again something that you should probably seek medical assistance for. Also, if you can't remember things, how do you remember them?
Yes.
Yes. Evil pumpkin. Yeah. But I'm David Pumpkins. Ah! Eh. It doesn't fully turn when you know, like, I don't really get it.
You're back. Great.
You're
Let me
back!
guess.
Great.
More questions?
I found this jacket.
Oh my gosh, where'd you find it? I've been looking for this.
It was in the Hathorn house.
Hathorn House?
Ooh.
What was it doing there?
Ooh.
I've never been there.
Are
I don't know.
you sure?
But it had your business card in its pocket, so I knew it was yours.
What luck. That's great. Can I have it back?
Sure.
That's a... Okay.
See you later.
Sure.
Nancy.
Talk to you.
Nothing. Come on.
Hi, Nancy.
See you later.
How are you?
Whoa.
You left your door open.
Actually, that was Damien Faulkner. He's my intern.
You have an intern. I haven't seen him.
He's around. Someone has to make the coffee here. I'm swamped most days, and I could barely trust Judge Danforth with a flashlight.
Oh, I mean, he's not that inept.
You're right. That was mean.
Yes, that was.
Anyway, what can I help you with?
See?
Okay.
As you know, I want to investigate the crime.
Information isn't usual.
Nothing. Go down the hallway and just stand in the back. Be like, all right, we're gonna call Carson. Daddy.
Hey, how's my girl doing?
Hey, Dad. I have a favor I need to ask you.
Of course. Shoot.
I need to investigate inside the Salem courthouse, specifically concerning the burglary in the evidence room. Do you think you could call Judge Danforth on my behalf and get his permission?
Not a problem. You know, this reminds me, next time you see him, you should bring up the Lake Winnipesaukee Regatta.
Dad.
Yeah?
Maybe later.
Sure thing. Talk soon.
We already talked about Lake Winnipesaukee. Yeah, we already talked about Winnipesaukee.
Hello?
Is this Damien Faulkner?
Yeah? Who is this?
Hi, my name is Nancy Drew. I'm a private investigator currently working the Hathorn House case on behalf of Judge Danforth. Do you mind if I take up a minute of your time?
Go ahead.
Just wanted to follow up on some statements.
Statements made by whom?
Tegan Perry,
Yes?
your girlfriend.
Right.
Where were you?
Yes?
Sorry, but were these statements given to the police?
No. They were given to me, willingly.
Yeah, sorry. I work for Alicia, and I've learned to make sure that when you're being questioned, you always have a lawyer present. I don't want to sound like I'm guilty or complicit, I just know my rights.
Of course.
But you sound trustworthy.
Oh, thanks. How long have you worked for Alicia?
I've interned for her for a while.
No, this is the first time that she calls herself a private investigator. This
You
is
seem
true.
to know a lot about legal framework.
I listen to her on the phone. A lot. Anyway, I was with Tegan on the night of the fire. That's what you wanted to know, right?
Yeah.
Why did you even...
And what did you guys do?
Watched a movie.
Okay. Which movie?
Honestly, couldn't tell you. vegan pics. You know, they're always some kind of vampire drama, apocalyptic, teenagey, angsty thing.
Oh, you mean a spark
Don't
fire?
tell her, but I never pay attention.
Like-
I'm into hard sci-fi.
Oh,
Hard sci-fi.
Anything else?
Oh boy.
Or...
no. Thanks for talking.
I'm into
to
hard
me.
sci-fi.
Yep. Sure.
Tips Fedora.
Bye.
I'm just kidding. That's mean to people who like sci-fi.
Hello, Deirdre?
Help me!
Deirdre!
Got you. Deirdre 1, Nancy 0. Ugh, you're so gullible.
It's not funny.
Dee Dee, the number of times
Come
people call me
on.
and literally
Yes,
are
it
dying is not okay.
You know what? I like it. Because now I know how much you care.
Of course I care, Deirdre. Despite your best efforts.
Well, anyway, I have some information for you.
Finally,
Frances
you
Tuttle?
do something.
What do you know about her?
She's the former owner of Hathorn House.
What? That's it?
Well, I thought you were going to research.
It all goes back to Frances Tuttle. Check it out. She took over the Hathorn House estate in 1992.
Oh,
Though I found
hey! I
3
was
different
born
marriage
then.
announcements in the Salem News. She was never married and never had any biological children. The only living heir now is Lauren Holt. She met Frances Tuttle and was officially adopted in 2006.
The judge said there was a will. Lauren confirmed that.
Exactly.
Wait.
But as far as I can tell, there is no will. Nothing was ever filed with the town clerk. No lawyer has stepped forward with a copy. Frances was in her late 80s when she passed, and she had a stroke a few years earlier. Maybe she was confused.
Are you saying you think that Lauren burned down her own house?
Sounds bizarre, I know. But it's the most likely scenario.
But why?
Because in Salem, a historic property is classified differently if it's a ruin versus being an intact structure. Without a will, a ruined property is preserved as is.
So Lauren could stay there.
Mm-hmm. Now, I don't think living in a charred-out building is great for your health, but it's a theory.
Okay. See if you can find out anything else.
Okay.
I'll meet you back at the Perry house later.
Okay. Bye, Nancy.
Yeah, you're right. I do like that change that they made. Okay, so I have a couple thoughts about this. Number one. So if Lauren was officially adopted and was the only and sole heir of Frances Tuttle, then all possessions, including the property, would go to her sole heir, her adopted daughter. Why are we even looking for a will? Some legal holes in this game.
Hi again. It's me, Nancy Drew.
Hello?
Okay,
Oh,
alright.
sorry. Time difference.
Elizabeth, I'm
My bad.
calling you at
No
like
problem.
5 p.m. your
You are
time,
calling
Max.
because you have
Come on.
questions?
Yeah, I do actually, if you don't mind.
Please, go ahead.
What do you know about hauntings, ghosts, and global witch trials?
Ah, well, Mosam Castle is one of the most haunted castles in the world. Unsurprising, considering the amount of war and bloodshed around the castle. Witches, werewolves, ghosts.
Woo!
Werewolves too?
Yeah, this
Wow.
may be on. Sorry,
Yes.
you gotta
In
pick
the
the pace here,
19th
sweetie.
century, deer and cattle were found torn apart in the area around the castle.
But that could have been any wild animal.
Indeed.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna be honest.
Imagination runs
We
wild
made
when
breakfast
people
right
are
before
afraid.
this, and so it's like morning Eastern Standard Time. Add 6 hours for Austria, maybe 7. I don't know exactly whether the western part of Austria is 7 hours away or not, or whether it's just 6 all the way through. And we're talking about like not that late here. You should not be sleeping this early, sweetie. Something's wrong.
Can you tell me more about the ghosts?
The reports are
Yeah,
always
I keep
similar.
reading Musham
Sounds
too,
of
honestly.
bumps upstairs,
Like Musham.
footsteps in the hallways, doors opening
Like
and
Musam.
closing on their own. Some people feel a cold touch or a person breathing on them when nobody is near. Floating light orbs are also a common phenomenon in ghost sightings.
Do you believe these reports?
When claims remain this steady over the years, it's hard not to believe. But I do understand it is possible to fool your
Or
own
it
senses
could
when you
be
expect
the
something to
building
happen.
itself.
The
you
mind
think
is
haunted.
suggestible that way.
That's the interesting thing about
Like
the haunted
the way
house
we
as an
recognize
idea.
faces in random shapes and patterns. We look for sense in the incomprehensible.
Perhaps like that. I
But
can't
is it
say
really
for sure.
incomprehensible? That's the point. This is an awesome YouTube video that I watched that was a little bit about this one game that I can't remember, and Control, which takes place in this big building that's like living and breathing almost, similar to a bunch of different ways. It's like this big brutalist office building basically. But the idea is that it's like this living entity. The building itself is a living entity. And it kind of explored the theory of why these games worked as horror games in some ways, and what themes they explored when it comes to the idea of the haunted house. The haunted house being, it could just be a CO2 lake from, using the furnace. Jeez. Excuse me. The idea of the haunted house comes a lot from our fear of the unknown and what we cannot perceive. And an empty house and what is inside that empty house is something that scares us. Just in the back of our minds all the time. It's something that just worries us. That's one of the reasons why, like, you know, you might have been afraid of the basement as a child. Even though you knew where everything was, as soon as you turn out the lights, it's a different space. And you comprehend it differently. So, I mean, I can certainly say that on my end, like, you know, I used to do the thing where I would turn out the lights and run up the stairs as quickly as possible to get to the safety of the next nearest light source. And that was kind of the idea, is like this...
Thank you for...
You're welcome.
I will.
You know. So, the idea that a big, huge castle with all of this history and all of this darkness involved in it, both figuratively and literally, a lot of the ghost stories will make themselves up. Anyway, enough of that. We'll call Frank, and then we'll call Joe, because they're different now.
Hey,
except
how's it
Joe's
going?
picking up the
Find
phone
anything?
for Frank anyway.
Nothing. Aside from the weird looks from the woman who lives here. Lauren Holt, I think her name was. To be fair, it looks like we're drilling for oil with all this equipment. Whoa! Cold spot! Grab that EMP meter, Frank, quickly!
What, you mean this? It says EMF.
Yeah, that one!
This one? Or this one? This one? You're sure?
Yes!
Because I have these other devices here like ESP, or PSN, or NASA.
Come on, Frank, hurry! God, it's gone! We're going to have to be quicker to catch these paranormal phenomena.
Uh-huh. Oh, hey, Nancy, forgot to tell you. On the way into town, I spotted surveillance cameras on the outside of the courthouse. Try checking the footage. I'm sure they have cameras on the inside as well.
They do, in fact, have
Yeah,
cameras
good
on the
catch.
inside.
We'll
But...
let you know if we catch any phenomena.
Phenomena.
Thanks. Talk soon.
Phenomena. Phenomena. Useless as always, indeed.
Hi. If you're hearing
They're
this, that
lovable
means I can't come to
idiots,
the phone
but they're
right now.
just...
Sorry, but don't
they're still
despair. Tell me
idiots.
everything you want to say after the beep. Beep. Just kidding. Here comes the real one.
Wow, Joe, that was funny in the 2000s, okay? Grow up. Overgrown twink.
Sorry to break it to you, but I'm ghosting you. Try again later. Or don't.
At least she's honest.
Well, she's honest indeed. Ned Staffer?
Hello.
Ned, hey.
You've reached the voicemail inbox of Ned Nickerson. I apologize that I did not come to the phone in a timely fashion.
Pick up your phone, Ned.
Stupid man.
Thank you for calling, but I'm not here right now. I will get back to you as soon as possible. Please drop me a line after the beep.
Most of these people in these, like, incredibly stiff voicemail messages. Mine's literally just like, hi, you've reached the voicemail, but leave a message,
As you
something along
know,
those lines.
I want
It's
to
just like,
investigate
bam.
the crime scene. Could you give me the code for the keypad?
That information isn't usually available to the public. I'm
But
afraid
I
can't
called
just
my
take
daddy.
your word for it. I'll have it taken care of.
I called Dad. There we go.
You're all set.
Great. Thanks, Dad.
You're welcome.
Is there anything else?
I'm just really proud of you, Nancy. I don't know how often I tell you that. I think it's not nearly enough.
Thanks, Dad. You know I learned it all from you, right?
Oh, now I know that's not true. The judge told me about a certain lock-picking incident. You certainly didn't learn that from me.
I may have picked up a few extra skills along the way.
I'd expect nothing less. Love you, kiddo. Go get him.
Okay, now we can actually...
Judge, everything okay?
What in the Sam heck is a Bitcoin?
Okay, here we go.
It's a cryptocurrency.
Talking about this now, are we?
Oh, what?
It's a decentralized digital currency.
Why are we bringing up Bitcoin?
All these new made-up digital things just go too far, if you ask me. Nothing's ever been wrong with good old American Benjamins.
As you know, I want to investigate the crime scene.
Why was that
Could you give
even
me the code
brought
for the
up?
keypad?
Oh, yes, about that. Well, you see,
Why
I
was
had
that
it
even
written on a
brought up?
post-it note, but I seem to have misplaced it. It should be around here somewhere.
Lord.
Feel free to look for it.
What in the Sam heck is a Bitcoin?
Don't worry about it. I love a good scavenger hunt.
Nancy, that's not called a scavenger hunt. That's called it's fucking lost, and this man is an absolute nut. I'm just reading this thing. It's about patience and chemotherapy? Okay. Got it.
There's a number written on here.
Yes, there is. It would be the number of the thing. Should I tell him?
Do you happen to have a list of all the evidence that was stored here?
It's locked and
Something
lost.
before the break-in.
Yes, actually. You should be able to get it from the computer in the evidence room. Feel free to use the printer and take the list with you. I'm going out on a limb for you here. That sort of information isn't usually available to the public.
Well, that's why you hired me,
I'll keep the
you
list
idiot.
close. Thank you. Who has access to the evidence room?
Oh, well, that would be me and Alicia. Why do you ask?
Just curious. Thanks. I'll come.
Okay, here we go. Wow, alright, well. They said break-in.
No glass on
they
the floor.
Really did mean.
So the window was broken from the inside.
That's.
Hmm.
Oops. Well, there is glass on the floor, but that's okay.
A map of Salem.
Well, this is a little. Smith Street, Cemetery Street, Courthouse Lane, Old Alley, Oak Drive, Cedar Pine. This is some.
A map of Salem. A map of Salem.
A map of Salem.
Need to get the list of the evidence that was stored here. Now to figure out which ones were stolen. It's dusty. It's dusty.
Okay. Salem. Okay, so what do we got? Evidence lists. Item number 1.
No. No.
Okay, that's there. Item number 2, ash sample.
No. No.
Okay. Crime scene images. Document, stained knife, heritage chart. Oh, wait. Document. Nope. Nope. Nancy. Document.
No. No.
No. No, there's definitely something missing there. Stained knife. Oh, checked out. Right, never mind. Heritage chart. Crime scene images.
No.
This is X. There's definitely something missing.
No. No. No.
I have no idea what.
No. 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 No.
Oops. Come on. Perfectly.
No. No.
Okay, she just says no every time. No. 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 The whole bunch of ones that I'm seeing is missing. She won't actually notice that they're missing? I don't know if I'm supposed to, like... Maybe I'm supposed to... Hold on.
Interesting.
Ah, I see. Okay.
No.
Okay. Nope. God damn. Number 8 is checked out.
No.
Yeah. Number 11 is not checked out.
Interesting.
That's how we're supposed to do this. No. 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 Is also not.
Interesting. All of the stolen evidence was linked to the accused witch's claim to Hathorn House.
It was.
It's dusty.
It's nice to
It's
turn it the
dusty.
fuck on, Nancy. Whether it's dusty or not, you gotta use it, alright?
Yes, can I help you?
See.
Hi, Nick.
See. Hey, are you feeling any better about the case?
Nope.
We're going to find out who did this, May. I promise.
If you say so. Look, thanks for breakfast. I just want to say, I know you're trying to help, but I think you're wasting your time.
Talk to you.
Hey, you reached Carson Drew's
I don't
home
know
number.
what Johnny
For business
cakes even
inquiries,
are,
please.
and that's the most annoying part. It's like they're just... the food's just there.
Hi, this is Nancy.
Hi.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Well?
Or? Okay. Weird. Investigate break-in at courthouse, gather alibis for book theft, and gather alibis for arson. Don't I basically have everyone's alibis at this point? Excuse me. Options including Hathorn House exploration. It's
Hi,
not
Nancy. You're back soon.
it's not really a puzzle.
I just have a couple.
Well.
See?
Yeah, pancakes with cornmeal, that's a weird texture. I don't think that's a good idea. Like,
Nancy, hey, how's the
cornmeal
investigation going?
pancakes is not a good idea. Don't do it.
Talk to.
No, I do not approve. The only proper way to do pancakes, have proper pancake mix that are quite cakey, and then use real maple syrup. That's the only thing. Only real maple syrup. You
You're
can't
back.
use anything else.
Great. Let me guess. More questions?
The nut be gone, right? Oh my god.
See you.
The rust be gone stuff. Like, I don't know. I love cornbread, but like
Hi,
a
Nancy.
mix of cornbread
What's
and
going
flour,
on?
it's just weird.
See you
And
later.
then a pancake? That's just a weird texture. I don't know. It's a weird texture. Ooh! Oh my goodness. Not too much today. I'm not going to talk about any of this. How do I...
It's dusty.
Is she just going to say it's dusty over and over again? I also just want to point out that this map seems to include Peabody. Just saying. Like, this is Marblehead. This is Salem, like here and over south. This is Peabody, I believe. Pretty sure. Double check that. Hold on. Peabody, Mass. Yeah, that's definitely Peabody. That one's not that big. To be fair, this is kind of like the Cambridge-Boston thing, where Cambridge is not in Boston, but everyone thinks of it like part of Boston. Right, yeah, and then south of here, that's Swampscott, that's right. It's just, they're from the Pacific Northwest where things are bigger than they are here. Like, it's hard to explain to people sometimes, especially when they think of Boston as such a small city, because I mean the actual population of Boston, like Boston proper, the actual population of Boston. I like how this game is literally just a chance for me to sit here and complain about other people when it comes to Boston, New England area, and how everyone gets us wrong. The actual population of Boston, the city of Boston, is just shy of 700,000 people. But the thing that you have to keep in mind is that Boston itself is not encompassing of what we consider to be Boston when it comes to a statistical area. Like, if you even think of Boston as where you can go on public transit, Boston is huge, much larger. Like, think of other cities like Chicago is huge, partly because Chicago started in the Midwest and started with a large tract of land that it could build out with. New York is big because they got so wealthy in the 1800s that they started buying and bullying cities and towns around them into joining the city of New York. That's why you have neighborhoods or boroughs that are former cities but are now part of New York. In Boston, they tried to do the same thing, but the problem with Boston is that it was so old and there was so much money in these other cities that Boston itself could not bully anything around it besides two cities in particular, Allston and Brighton, I believe. Yeah, it's a lot of history notes, I know. Let me just double check on that, because Roxbury is... Yeah, no, I take it back. Roxbury was another one. So, like, the actual city of Boston originally is really tiny, really, really small. But it expanded out and kind of absorbed other towns around it. But even then, it's still really small because it was blocked by the efforts of other cities nearby, like the city of Brookline, Mass, and the city of Cambridge, and the city of Somerville, which were wealthy enough to basically say, Boston, you hold the shit. You're not being this. You're not getting that big. So, while Boston proper is just about 700,000, the greater Boston area is just shy of 5 million. Is much, 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 much bigger. 80% of Massachusetts population lives in the quote-unquote greater Boston area, and that includes towns and cities such as Saugus, Revere, Chelsea, Everett, Boston, Milton, Quincy, Braintree, Weymouth, Hingham, Hull, Cambridge, Somerville, Newton to some extent, if you want to go out that far, because the T does go out that far. You know, the city of Newton is huge. Like, there are tons more people. Here we go. This is a better map. Yeah. Quincy, Milton, Dedham, Boston, Brookline, Cambridge, Somerville, Newton, Wellesley, Needham, Weston, Waltham, Watertown, Belmont, Arlington, Lexington, Burlington, Woburn, Stoneham, Winchester, Reading, Wakefield, Saugus, Melrose, Malden, Everett, Medford, Lynn. Malden, Medford, Everett, Chelsea, Revere, and Winthrop. I read Lynn. That was not part of the greater Boston area. And even, like, a little step further, I might even consider, like, Concord pretty close. It's close enough that I would consider it part of Boston, too. But, like, yeah. So when people are like, oh, Boston's such a tiny city. Yeah, Boston is tiny, but Boston is not. I don't know. Just off my horse, we're gonna... That's not working. I was hoping that would work. There's something else. Can I use one of the cakes? Which pancake? It's Dusty. Communal Rail greatest hits. Absolutely. God. And that's the other thing, is that somehow we have, I think, the second best public transportation system in the entire country. Which is sad. Because if we have the second best in the country, we have terrible public transportation in this country. Boston's public transportation system is the second oldest in the world. It's the second oldest in the world and the oldest in the United States.
A
We
specter
predate.
maybe.
Oh, come on, work with me. We predate New York's by like a dozen years or something like that. I can't remember. Oldest subway in USA. Yes. So the. There we go. Tremont Street Subway was the oldest subway tunnel in North America and the third oldest, third oldest, still in use worldwide to exclusively use electric traction, opened in 1897. Now it is basically the connection between Boylston to Park and Government Center, for those who want to know. Let's try clicking on that. Maybe that will work. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now.
A CCTV camera? There might be footage from the day of the break-in.
I love this.
Should ask the judge about this. The
now we're
break-in was...
Oh, I missed what she said. Because I thought we were done talking.
I went through the missing evidence and was able to get a list of everything that's
Thank you,
missing.
Ragnarok. Thank you.
Judge? Judge?
I'm afraid I haven't been completely honest with you, Nancy.
Oh boy, here we
I
go.
know.
What? You know?
Let's just say I can tell when someone is trying to hide something from me.
The reason Carson sent you to Mosem Castle was because I already knew what was stolen from the courthouse. Tegan Perry had assembled a packet of documents outlining her accused witch's claims on the Hathorne house. They were compelling, and I believe she had a real claim. But now, they're missing.
No documents, no claim.
Yes. Oh, what a mess.
Oh boy, here we go.
Without any evidence or will, what's the legal status of the house?
The house
Well,
passes to the next
that is a
legal
somewhat
heir,
complicated question.
which is
So many
the
moving
adopted
parts and
daughter
interested
of-
parties with crossover jurisdictions.
You're the one who decides who gets the house.
How did you know?
I can tell you're not happy about being the center of such a large decision.
Well, it's muddy, legally, and complicated for other reasons.
Because it's not just who lives there. It's tied up in the town's history.
Yes, not to be taken lightly.
Do you remember any details about the AW evidence?
I don't remember much, unfortunately. Oh, there was this key with its blade shape to spell AW. Very unique. Not sure what it was connected to.
Like this one?
Yes, that's it. Where did you find this?
Mosam Castle. I say both crimes are connected.
They definitely are.
The theft of the Book of Apologies and the theft of evidence from the courthouse.
Someone is going to great lengths to prevent the AW organization from having a claim on the Hathorne estate.
Any educated guess who that might be?
Practically everybody in this town. Everyone has an interest. Some want it to be a museum, others a carnival attraction. And I'm sure Lauren Holt just wants to live there.
I'll have to dig deeper.
Well, you'll need to do it quickly. I unfortunately must file the papers in 2 days. Otherwise, I lose control of the property and it falls into the hands of the state. And I doubt they give a fig about anyone's opinions from this town.
I love a good ticking clock, as long as it's not a time bomb.
I can't. Okay. Oh. Alright, let's just say, okay, alright, hold on. Alright, so Massachusetts, in terms of the United States, is perhaps the biggest old state. I don't know how to put this in a way that makes sense. We traffic in the oldness of our state. We are very well aware in the oldness of our state. We know about the history because we sell that. I mean, we get people coming just to take pictures on a specific street in Boston because it looks like it's old. Like, we know, okay? So to tell me that the state government, which is housed in the city of Boston, would not care about one of its most historied locations and a house that is a major part of it, you tell just there's some stretches that are happening here right now.
Where were you when this evidence was stolen?
There are some stretches.
If you can believe it, I was here, working. I have no reason to steal the evidence, trust me. It's giving me more headaches than I care to admit.
Do you have CCTV footage from the break-in?
Yes, we do. Huh. I had completely forgotten about those.
Do you mind if I take a look at the footage?
Of course, of course. It will take about a day to get the right footage. Come back tomorrow and it will be here waiting for you.
Yeah, he just conveniently forgot. Great.
Do you mind me asking what you were doing 3 days ago?
That would be the day you visited Mosam Castle. Are you asking for an alibi, Miss Drew?
Yep.
I'm just trying to confirm what everyone was doing the day that the Book of Apologies was stolen.
You should be
I know
thankful.
it was stolen. But you know I'm the one that called your dad to
You're
have you
getting
look for it to begin
Lord,
with.
He's literally in law
Right.
enforcement.
But other
You
people
should know
might
about
say
this.
they were with you.
I was at Salem District Court all day, so unless you're interviewing the fine folks who stole eggs from a plover's nest at Winter Island Beach, or triple parked outside the Wax Museum during the middle of the Harvest Festival, I highly doubt my schedule will have crossover with any of the alibis you're following up on.
So I think plover and plover are interchangeable in terms of pronunciation, because I've always heard plover. I think plovers. Hold on. Let's find out about this. Not actually listed. Oh, that should be... That's a bad Wikipedia article, just for not having that. Autobahn Society. Here we go. I don't know what that's saying. That's probably just a... Here we go. Here's another one. Robin Hitchcock once sang, "On the horizon of the gulls and plovers, she saw the outline of transparent lovers." Webster's declares this a perfect couplet, but it also says, "I'm free to rhyme plovers with rovers." Okay. Both versions are acceptable. William Something linguistics called the Great Vowel Shift. The O that you'd have found in plover in 1300 would have been formed in the back of the throat, making it sound like lover. Within a few hundred years, that O moved forward in the mouth to sound like rover. The bird names that originated in Europe, including plover, which comes from the Old French, and have 2 or more English pronunciations, each with history going back centuries. Ooh, okay. There we go. Yeah, he slid in the Wax Museum, and he also slid in Waikiki Beach.
One quick question for you, Judge. Do you remember where you were on the night the Hathorn house was burned?
Of course. I was having dinner with my son. It was a very expensive dinner because Jason got the 64-ounce tomahawk chop. And I paid for it like I always do.
Wow.
You actually suspect me of committing this crime?
Lord, you should
No.
know
I just
exactly
like to get the full picture of who was where.
why I'm asking.
Good.
Right. Thank
Are
you,
you a
Judge.
fucking judge or are you a judge?
Also, I thought you should know there's a
64
car
ounces is
parked
very
outside in the handicapped spot.
Huh, you don't say. I'll have it taken care of. Goodbye now.
Tegan, I was able to rule out some...
You need to come here, quickly. Something's happened.
Oh boy.
I'll be right there.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
What happened?
How did it come to this?
Sorry, Ned. Come on.
No,
let's
Ned.
get inside.
Not a good time.
So I didn't tell you everything.
Here we go.
You know, it's just been really hard.
It's really hard.
It's okay. I understand.
It's
When
really
I started
hard.
working at the museum, I was curious about our town's history.
Mhm.
Because I
Then
think
you found
history
out
is
about
the
your
most
history.
important thing.
Found out
Santayana
that
said,
your
those who
family
cannot
was
remember
one of
the
the ones
past
that
are condemned to repeat it. Right?
accused.
Of course.
Mhm.
Well, I found out something about
Here
my
we go.
family.
This
We
you're
changed our
related
name.
to Paris.
We used to be Paris.
Okay.
Samuel Paris and his daughter Betty were the
Or just
first
to screw it.
accusers of witches. They were directly responsible for the execution
Oh, the spray
of
paint was like
numerous
liar, and they had
people. And
things
they
of
are part of my
pigs and
family.
traitors and
Oh.
stuff like that.
But you're the
head of the AW organization. My family helped murder their ancestors. Which is why I've never told anybody, and now everyone knows.
Why do you
I think
think
everyone
anyone would
would've
do
known
this?
for-
I don't
it
know.
was- yeah. okay.
Maybe it's someone else who wants the Hathorn house.
Wasn't hard to
No
find
one
that
in
out.
AW is going to
I
trust
found
me
that out
after
a while
this.
ago.
And the evidence is gone. All of this for nothing.
It's going to be okay, Tegan. We'll figure it out.
Ooh, all right.
Hey guys,
Can't move
can you give me an
without
update?
getting- Oh, time to be the Hardy Boys.
Hey guys, can you give me an update?
Nancy, I have missed talking to you. I need some rationality in my life.
Complaining about rationality is inherently irrational.
Right.
I like how we're
What's going on?
doing this now.
Everything okay?
Not really. I'm at the Perry house. Someone vandalized it with graffiti.
Really?
Turns out the Perrys are descendants of the Paris family. A family who was responsible for sending some of the accused witches to their deaths.
Wow, doesn't she run that justice group, Accused Witches?
Exactly. Explains why she's so dedicated to the cause. She knew and was trying to make things right, I guess.
So, someone is trying to embarrass the Perrys. Means our suspect is still in town.
Looks like. Have you found anything?
Nope. Nothing here. It's been dead quiet.
Get it? Because they're in a
It's
cemetery.
a joke.
Oh god,
We're,
really? He's gonna. Yeah.
In a
alright.
cemetery.
If you have to explain it, it's not a joke.
I get it.
I explained
Listen,
it. That's
things are a little tense here, so I'm gonna stay with Tegan.
now with the Hardy Boys,
Can
right?
you update me if you find anything, please?
No problem,
Yeah, this
partner.
feels like
Western joke.
Frank.
I mean, we haven't really discussed the whole detective partnership thing yet, so...
Frank, not a good time.
Yeah,
Right.
tact.
Talk soon.
If you're done being awkward, I could use your help.
What? I'm not awkward.
Yeah, you are.
Whatever you say,
I like
partner.
that my pumpkins are there too.
Let's finish our search and get out of here, okay?
Sure, but don't
Honestly,
rush.
the
We're
twink
here to
does
prove the
look good.
existence of ghosts. That requires steady patience.
And steady equipment. Speaking of which, how are we doing on that front?
All set. I'll use the antenna to search for suspicious cold spots while you move around with the Ghost Wavelength Spectral Analyzer 2.5 and look for disturbances from the other side.
The spectral analyzer? Anyway, are you sure it actually
Looks
works?
like a microphone.
Of course. I built it myself. The device has a top-of-the-line scanner that can detect any disturbances.
A scanner?
Might not have found
Do you mean
anything
a
yet,
microphone?
but have to stay optimistic about these things.
And I guess this ghost hunting notebook is homemade too?
Thoroughly researched. But yes, it is.
You are now playing as Frank Hardy. No shit. Okay. What? Am I doing this right? Let's look at the notebook. It'll probably tell us what's going on. I believe so. I mean, my computer is certainly turning into a small heater at the moment, so... Is there something about the high-quality graphics that I'm not aware of? Yeah, you just change it so that it matches. You can change the button in the middle, and I don't know what it means. Oh, interesting. Huh. I mean, they are still pretty blurry to begin with, so they do definitely mean that, but I wonder if the knobs actually are correct. Like, one of them is delta and one of them is, this is frequency and this is amplification. So, but I don't know what the 1 and 2 mean. Oh. That is really close. Come on, work with me, work with me. Oh, look how fucking close it is!
Found a new cold spot.
There we go.
You should move over there.
On it.
Found a new cold spot. You should go over there. Where is there?
I've adjusted the scanner, but it shows no real signs here. Are you getting any other signals?
Let me check.
Yeah, that one was. I'm kind of feeling that there's a pattern to this. And I'm getting that. No, not quite. Close, but not quite.
There's nothing here. What? Hey, what's this?
No one saw that?
What is it? What is it? Is it a ghost?
No, it's a light
no.
sensor.
Well, it seems like
That's
some sort of machine.
That's literally just a sensor that turns
But
on the
what's
lights.
a device like this doing in a graveyard? Something's up.
Oh, that's a motion detector. How
Thank
weird
you.
is that?
All right, put your equipment down. Your plan didn't work. Now we're tracking this so-called ghost my way. Let's see what else we can find.
But I just finished setting everything up. Fine, fine. My eyes are peeled.
Okay, so we're gonna start. Whoa, hi. So we're gonna have another DD. Hi, we have another DD moment, aren't we? With her just like right there.
How creepy, putting a motion detector in a graveyard. A new addition and fully functional, it picks up movement of cemetery visitors. How creepy, putting a motion detector in a graveyard.
Okay, well. like how you can obviously see it and it just wasn't there before. That's a good touch. What are we doing then? Bakery clues in the forest? Alright, I guess we're going in the forest then.
Should we really be doing this? I'm already having second thoughts.
Of course we should, Worrywart. What is Nancy gonna think if we return empty-handed because you chickened out?
That's not...
She's gonna think I should have done this by myself,
scared,
which is what
Joe.
she should have done anyway.
You're doing this.
Onwards!
Alright, Wonder Twink, let's go.
Rope. This was used to make something move to or from the branches.
Lordy, is so smart. Oh, so smart. Hi, Joe. He is cute. Not gonna lie. They look good now. Both of them look good. Wonder Twink, yeah, right. Isn't that a good name? I like that, yeah. I mean, you want other good nicknames. We can talk about Link from Zelda is the Psycho Twink. Absolute Psycho Twink.
Just thinking about all the lurking lurkers out there gives me the chills.
He just like is crazy. Just absolute crazy.
There's a strange powder on the ground. Ashes. Judging by the remnants, herbs were burnt here.
Like incense? Could be something spiritual, could be something bigger. Let's see what else we find.
Hi. Just like right there. Right there. Bam. Let's go. Bam. How about the fog machine that's right there?
Looky here, an affordable but effective fog machine.
Yeah,
Should be able to cover this whole part of the forest in a layer of mist. Whatever happened to good old natural huntings?
Right behind you.
There's nothing natural about our findings here. This reeks of foul play.
Oh shit. Not done yet? Wait, there's more.
I don't know about this. We shouldn't trespass onto someone else's property. I don't know about...
Murderness. A murder in the forest. Come on. Work with me here. Work with me. Work with me. So I've just realized, one of the jokes that I've had with my roommates is that I have this insanely powerful computer that I use to play Nancy Drew. When I say insanely powerful, I mean it's just, I built this as a like pretty high-powered gaming desktop. And at the time, you know, Nancy Drew games were everything that we've had up until this point, you know, pre-rendered 3D backgrounds, you know, the pretty simple movement, stuff like that. But now it is actually, like, the joke that we would have is that I'm like, nothing but the best for Nancy, 4K, 144 FPS, or 144 hertz, 120 FPS, all that stuff. But like, it is running hot right now. The cabinet that my computer is in is very toasty, to the point that I'm very excited to move it out of the cabinet when I move, but you know, that's another thing that we'll take care of when we get there. it's just funny because Nancy Drew as a series has always been like, you can run it on anything, and now it's like, well, you want to get the full experience or whatever, you got to run it on hot. And even then, it's not, like, I don't know. It's not very well optimized, but then again, this is, again, her Interactive's first foray into Unity.
Just thinking about all the...
This is a good move. It was a good start. There's something else to look at? I mean, I haven't even seen anything else. Obviously, it must be something else. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised that a lot of people have trouble getting the game to run. Because this definitely requires some kind of graphics that's, you know, possibly a discrete solution at least. No, you can't check anything off, that's right, yeah. Wow, their phone is useless. Alright, noted. How did I get here?
I don't know.
I don't want to go look at that. I want to look at where the scarecrow is. The thing that's right there.
I don't know about this.
Fine. Right, yeah. See, it's one of those things where it's like, it's really heavy on the graphics card, but they're not optimized to work quite well. They're just... It's one of the things where the assets were placed and not necessarily optimized. It's the thing that comes with experience. So, like, I think this was a first foray, and it's good that they're trying something new. I like and appreciate what they're trying. I do feel like the idea of this can run on anyone's computer, so a bunch of little girls can play it on their mom's work laptop or something like that is a bit of a loss, but
Rope.
then again, I don't know if whether just a straight up modern laptop that uses Intel graphics would be able to run this or not. I'm not sure. To be fair, it is running my computer hot at 4K. I am rendering this at 4K with high graphics settings. So it is I'm not surprised that my computer is working. But like, it's working. I'm also streaming, so that adds to my computer's load anyway. God, the following mechanic needs to be a little... Whoever is following you needs to chill, basically. I don't know what I'm looking for right now. Okay.
Check out the spooky jack-o'-lantern. Innocent Halloween prank or sinister scare.
In the dark, it can easily be mistaken for something supernatural.
Motion detector, fog machine,
Nancy put that there.
pumpkin head.
Nancy put that there.
Incense. Well, you finally going to admit you were wrong?
Of course not. All we've proven is that there are no ghosts here.
So you still think ghosts exist?
I think we can't prove they don't not exist.
Say that again?
Look, the absence of proof does not mean that we can disprove their existence, but what it does tell me is that what Nancy saw was not a real ghost.
So who has something to gain by setting up a fake haunting?
Olivia.
Olivia. There's gotta be some evidence linking her to this. There's no way she brings gear here every night. She must have a stash.
But where?
Why don't we just ask her? To the museum.
So, I mean, my thoughts on moving to Unity, it is difficult because they were using a very old game engine. And game engines take a lot of in-house time and work and money to create. Unity is such a giant and available tool, which
We've got what we came here for.
Doesn't cost
Next
a lot
up,
of money
the
either.
museum.
So.
Hey, before we do this, shouldn't we
Wow,
call
we really
Nancy?
did just break in. Okay.
What? Why?
Because we're a team. We should check in
So
with
I
her.
don't know. I
Nancy do her
understand
thing and we'll
both
do
sides
ours.
of this one.
Oh, so what is our
so-
thing exactly?
Ghost
Yeah.
busting.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel. I would be fine if they moved back to the old games. I think I would also be fine if they continued to refine what they have kind of tried to build here and maybe make it a little easier for other people to play. Right. Well, that's the thing. I don't know. The issue with trying to use a game engine that's quite literally from the 90s just might be the bigger issue there, I wonder. And like, we can see how some games, when they reuse game engines far past their usage, like the Fallout games and the Elder Scrolls games still using Creation Engine, even the new ones that are coming out in the future still using Creation, we can see how that can cause some severe jank. So I can understand if their hesitation of using the same old engine was that any new developers coming in would have no experience, and the only people who could work on the games and pick it up right away would be people who had already had experience with the engine, which meant that they would essentially have to train developers from scratch in Her Interactive, which pulls away from actual development of the game, and it pulls not only resources away from the development of the game, because you have to, if you're hiring a developer on to then work on the game, eventually they still have to take the training time, but you also then have to take one of your current developers to train the new people on the engine. So you kind of lose two positions of development in one. We kind of see this in the library field a whole lot when we have to deal with what's called the ILS, the library system, essentially, the software we use to run the library. There are like 3 or 4, maybe 5 major ILS out there, and that's about, that's it. It used to be that libraries would create their own in-house one, but now you want to try and be on one of the major ones so that you don't have to train people on how to use the basic functions of them even. And there's definitely a learning curve. I mean, over the 3 library positions that I've had so far, I've had a different ILS every time, and I've had to take so much time out of learning each one. I mean, it would be nice, but not many companies do that anymore. I mean, Her Interactive is really a oddball company because it's not published by a major company. It's not an imprint in any way. Like, BioWare is part of EA. Bethesda has its own satellite studios. Activision has its own satellite studios. Like, it's frustrating that that's how the ecosystem is now, because it does really kind of depress the originality of games, and it kind of commodifies them to a point where you won't necessarily have labors of love anymore. You'll have things that will make money, which sucks a lot. So do not think that I am advocating for this in any way, shape, or form. I think that if Her Interactive could make it completely in-house, that would be way better. But if the reality is I get the feeling that Her Interactive wasn't doing amazingly well. They were probably turning a profit, but not, enough to retreat and create a new engine, kind of a thing, I don't know. I haven't seen any fatal errors, no. You're absolutely right.
Hey, look! A list of mysterious symbols.
A brochure all about Abigail Hathorne Woodley's life and disappearance. Work in progress.
She's clearly important to Olivia, in some way.
She's probably related to Olivia, in some way. I mean, it could be. This is another one of those things where, like, the first moment of a collaboration between studios is going to be rough. I mean, the first point of collaboration between any two entities of any kind is always just going to be rough. Oh, whoa. Oh, whoa.
There's a gravestone map on the back. If this isn't suspicious.
I don't see Abigail Hathorne Woodley's grave on here, though. Would have been too easy. No matter, we'll find her.
Interesting. So yeah, I guess what I'm just trying to get around to saying basically is I'm willing to trust them and see where this goes. And hope that the decision they make is the right one. Since this is the first time that they've done something like this, I'm willing to give it a shot, and I think that there's some promising stuff here. You know, I will also say, however, that I definitely miss a lot of the older puzzles because the puzzles in this really aren't much at all. They're not hard. They don't require much thought. I mean, to be fair, I can kind of say that about Sea of Darkness as well, because I mean, like, Labyrinth of Lies, most of the games, in fact, but Labyrinth of Lies, for instance, took 2 pages for me to write up notes for. Sea of Darkness was just about 1 page. My notes for like almost 2 days into Midnight in Salem, I wrote down the code for the block, and then I started writing down some things for the pancake puzzle, and then gave up because it was easier to just wing it. It was not it's just, yeah. I think the puzzles in Sea of Darkness are fine. They just didn't require a lot of, like, sit down, think, work it out logically. A lot of them could be brute forced, and that was kind of my issue with it. I think. Okay. Because I mean, this one seems pretty straightforward. You just orient yourself so that you can see where Alexander Bell is, and then go from there. Oops. Alexander Bell is here. God, you were just right there all the time. Which means that Abigail Hathorne Woodley's grave is here. That doesn't make sense.
Is that a box underneath the gravestone?
Wait, I've got this.
There you go, though.
This is good evidence. Aren't you glad we broke into the museum?
Aren't you glad? I think the puzzles
not really.
But look at this. I'm going to go ahead and guess that this will decipher the paper we found in the gift shop. Check it out.
They're really good. They are really good. The puzzles are really good. They just don't make sense. I mean, they kind of call it out at one point where they're like, there are puzzles in between sets, on sets, for the actors to do in the middle of the play. But, like, there's also a point where it's like, that doesn't make any sense at all.
A decryption device of some sort.
Here we go.
Time to put you to good use.
How many lines? 3? 3 lines. Okay. So line 1 then would be... Why is there that middle symbol? Why do we have to have the Greek alphabet in here as well? Doesn't make a lot of sense. Oh, I see. Okay. This is a weird way to do it. I figured they would just have us try. I can see why this is your favorite puzzle, because this is the most Nancy Drew puzzle that I've had to deal with so far. This is the only one that makes me feel like I'm actually playing a Nancy Drew game so far. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. make a word, and the fact that it makes a word makes me feel good about it. Stock wands. Boring. Okay, now we have to... I wonder if then we keep the Greek part the same. Let's see where that takes us. See whether this works at all. The most Nancy Drew-esque puzzle is definitely a to-do list. That's the true answer to this whole thing. You are right. If there's not a to-do list, it's not a Nancy Drew game. See if this works out. I don't know that it will. It's not working. Yeah, that's not working. How do I erase? We get all the way to the end. Oh, I have to do the whole thing, I guess. This is a problem that I have with this game, is that when you start something, you can't stop it, and it kind of sucks. So I've already did this one. So I just have to go through with this, which is kind of stupid, because I know it's wrong, but I have to finish it. As far as I know. Oh, okay. Oh, cool. Alright, cool. Alright, we're good now. That's obviously... Oh, I also put that in the wrong place. Let's try that. That might be slightly the wrong one. I have the wrong symbol. Oops. Still might be wrong, but we'll find out. I guess it makes it even more slightly annoying to me that Nancy isn't doing this. The first real puzzle and Nancy's not doing it. To-do list. This is okay, so this is a puzzle on the to-do list that makes a to-do list. Is that right? Am I right here? I like that. There we go. This is the one I want. I don't know why someone would write a to-do list in this way. This is the most... I mean, didn't they try to do a Hardy Boys game already? And it wasn't very good. I mean, the last item, if it's like Frank Nancy Drew, that'll be great. I'm down for it. Dietrich Shannon Mysteries. Honestly, if they came out with like a cop thing with Dee Dee as a actual police detective, which would be wild. Like, she finally finishes her criminology degree. There we go. Okay, moving on. Still waiting for something to be spicy. Oh no, there was a, I remember my brother playing a Hardy Boys, like, PC game. Yeah, the Hardy Boys, The Hidden Theft. Created by Joe Wood Productions and the Adventure Company. So it was 2008, yeah. So this was, yeah, Adventure Company was originally a member of Dreamcatcher and then sold to THQ Nordic in 2011. I just remember seeing him play it and being like, ugh. It wasn't her interactive, yeah. There we go. And to the right. Okay. Let's try this. That. And the other thing. Cat maintenance. Good. Just do it. Just do it! Exactly. Alright, this one better be spicy, because if it isn't spicy, I'm going to be sorely disappointed. This is a ridiculous amount of effort to write something in this, let alone decipher it later. This is just a lot of work. Got a T. Okay. get stock. I'm not feeling confident about this one. Wait, is it get stock from some letter? Wait, this might actually be interesting.
I cracked it. Look
Get
here.
stock from L.
Cool. Let me see.
Okay. That sounds a little bit like
this
get
is just
stock
a list
from
of
Lauren,
chores.
Lauren Holt.
It's dated tonight. Get stock from L?
Lauren Holt.
Ah, you guys got it. I'm glad we're on the same wavelength. So now we're gonna trespass? Oh, stuff.
Hey,
All right.
take it easy there, fellas. What's the rush?
Abigail Hathorne Woodley.
What?
We found Abigail Hathorne Woodley's grave.
What are you talking about? It's not here.
No shit, dude. We're just gonna walk away.
This tastes really good.
A little late for high tea, but it's good quality.
Frank's not much of a connoisseur.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to be rude. It's just a bit strong.
Don't worry about it. Lauren's got some of the best stuff. She gets it from all over the world. Although I usually use the mail order service. She is not my biggest fan. Today was an exception.
You're dodging our question.
I am?
Abigail Hathorne Woodley's ghost.
Oh, yeah. That. Okay, look. I may have helped stimulate everyone's imaginations a little. You know, it's good for business.
If Frank dies,
what I
we
did
know what
isn't
happens.
illegal.
Maybe. But it seems like you're doing it to keep people away from the Hathorne house.
Yeah, what are you trying to hide?
Nope, we're jumping into third person. Also,
What,
where
you
is
saying
Frank?
that I burned down the Hathorne
Oh,
house?
he's behind.
Maybe.
Well, no. We wouldn't make an accusation like that unless
is
we had
already
actual evidence.
something.
What evidence do you need? She's guilty.
Okay, wait a minute. I'll admit, I rigged up a little theatrical show for tourists and the like, but there's actually a real ghost here. Lauren saw it.
No.
And we're about to see
No,
it too?
you can't have it both ways.
Joe, calm down.
I am calm. Don't say that. Why are you looking at me like that?
Like what?
Shh, do you hear it?
Hear... Shh. Hear what? I don't hear anything.
Well, something's in the tea.
Who is it? Who's there?
Where?
Yep.
There. Right there.
Didn't see
Right
that.
there.
Yep.
I don't...
Why are we getting closer to it? Oh, hi. Something's in the tea. It's
There's...
in the tea. Hallucinogenic tea.
A ghost.
In the cemetery.
Definitely
Are
drugged.
you serious? You're serious. Okay. Can you describe to me what you saw?
Just like you said. I can't believe it.
You see,
Not a really
they
big fan
exist.
of LSD.
I've
tea.
never seen anything like it.
LST?
And her eyes.
Wait, her?
Finger guns.
Yeah?
That wasn't a woman.
Looked like a woman to
Ear
me.
hooves.
To be fair, I couldn't see her eyes.
It was a man.
Clipping
with
issues.
black
Oh,
eyes.
yay.
That's not who I saw. I saw a woman, and I couldn't see her eyes.
Wow. So I'm the only one still grounded in reality here?
Wait, you saw a woman and you saw a man. But it was the same apparition? This is puzzling.
It's
Well,
hallucinogenic tea.
What is that supposed to mean?
You never believed. Now there's proof.
Oh, please, Olivia. You never believed in ghosts. It's all theater to you. Only thing you believe in is making a buck from real-lived pain.
Isn't that what you do?
History is different than legend.
It's no legend, Tegan. All three of us saw something. It's real.
Did you find anything else at the cemetery?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, so I was rigging up fake hauntings to scare tourists. Big whoop.
What? Are you serious? Scaring people? Someone could have gotten hurt.
Wait, so she's getting upset that
You
people
always
scare
take
other
things
people
too
in
far.
Salem? Honey.
Get over yourself,
Honey.
Tegan. The only reason people come to this town is for the thrills, not old crockery and moldering period costumes.
Actually, it's like
No one gets scared or hurt in a museum.
That's a lie.
That's the problem.
Honey,
Hey,
honey,
everyone
I
enough.
have worked in a museum
Calm
where people
down.
got shoved down
Remember,
the fucking
we're
stairs.
here for May.
All
Yeah,
right,
well,
they got
where is
hurt.
She's in her room.
I don't remember.
Did you happen to see the red spray paint on our house on the way in? Well, she did. She knows what's going on here. My parents are going to flip.
Olivia, what you saw was in no way related to your scare setup.
No, it was real. I couldn't get anything close to that. It was terrifying.
It looked real.
Did you track down any new leads for the arsonist? Okay, I'll go first.
Thank you for that emoji. I'm so
far,
glad
the
there's
evidence seems
a
to be
Henrik emoji out
indicating
there.
that someone is lying
keep
about
it
their alibi.
totally blank
Didn't
right
you
now. We've
interview
got
everyone?
Two freaking.
Everyone except for May. But I don't think she did it.
Nancy, if you're missing an alibi, wouldn't you think that that person has something to hide?
May is protecting something, and I need to figure out what or whom. But I just have this feeling.
Well, don't stop there. Go on.
I don't know yet, but I think it's someone else. Look, we're not going to get the answer tonight. Let's try again tomorrow. It's been a long day.
Olivia, you can stay here tonight, if you want.
Thanks.
The couch, unfortunately. All the other beds are taken.
Speaking of which, where's Deirdre?
She said she might be late. I'm sure she'll be back soon.
Are we about ready to get Deirdre Cam?
This time of night.
Yep. No. Oh, okay. Back to Nancy Drew. I thought we were gonna play as Dee Dee. Damn.
Huh?
Okay, so it's now just about 1 a.m. This is normally when I end, and I don't know how far along in the game we are, because this is the only one that I've never actually played. So I will defer to someone in the audience. CJ, you've seen this game before. About how far along are we? Is this something I should try to finish, or call it and just pick up next Tuesday? Yeah. I hate to just, like, pull that out, but yeah. I appreciate the 2/3 of the way. That sounds like I probably should just hold off and finish it up next week.
Nancy!
Then. Hey.
Hi.
We'll do the talk and then we'll figure out what's up.
So what time did you get home last night?
I'd like to just eat my breakfast without being interrogated. Is that okay with everyone? Is it?
No.
I've already answered a litany of questions from these two.
These
You want to
two.
ask them. I'm
The
sure they'd
venom.
love to tell you.
Wow.
Okay.
She's just bitter. Just
Ow.
bitter all the time.
What's wrong with you?
My hands feel like pins and needles. I think I slept on them or something.
Yeah, me too.
Same.
Uh-huh. So, is anyone going to tell me what happened yesterday?
I visited the Hathorn house.
And?
I found Olivia's jacket in plain view.
Seems too obvious.
It is.
Olivia has been involved with some scare pranks in town, mostly drumming up business for her tour.
Hold on.
But we don't think she's a suspect.
Her alibi?
She was working.
Working?
As was everyone else in town at the time. Minus May, of course.
Okay, so we've got the hunk, right? We got the jock. Sorry, he's not the hunk. He's the jock. Got the jock, got the twink, and we've got the beard. Am I right? Am I right? Tell me that I'm wrong. Tell me that I'm wrong. I mean, I'm right. I know I'm right.
There's
Anyway.
definitely a will.
Okay. Do we have it?
No, but I found a letter written by Francis Tuttle specifically stating that a will exists and was written for Lauren.
Could have
And
been
the
burned in
sparkly
the
vampire,
fire.
who is absolutely
Could be the
the
reason
fourth
for the
wheel in this
fire.
three-way relationship.
None of this helps May. We need a perp, not a possible piece of paper that no one can find.
A perp?
We should still try to find it. It might be motive. And it would mean the difference between keeping or losing a home. Well, they saw it.
It?
An anomalistic paranormal projection.
You mean a ghost?
That's exactly what I mean. You know what I'm talking about.
Okay. Anyone else see it?
Olivia Ravencroft.
The witch?
But
except she claims to have seen Judge John Hathorne, not Abigail Hathorne Woodley.
Joe is using big words.
Well,
Look at
there
him.
you
He's all
have
grown
it.
up now.
She sees something different than
There's
all
something
of you.
rattling in that brain.
Clearly she's lying. She probably rigged the whole thing up.
I don't think so, Deirdre. It's not an act. She was genuinely scared.
Ergo.
Therefore...
No, sorry. Not ergo. Ergut. Your hands.
Ergot poisoning. You really think it's possible?
Mass psychogenic illness by more than one person. Hallucinations, vasoconstriction in the hands and feet.
Pins and needles.
Exactly.
Wait, what? What is that?
Yeah.
But how?
Food or drink?
Intentional?
In this town? I'd believe it.
Tea.
What are you guys talking about?
Nancy had tea before she saw the
We could have
ghost.
been poisoned with ergot.
Poisoned? What?
And then you two got
the symptoms
tea
match,
along with Olivia
and it's not without
from
precedent,
Lauren.
especially here.
Oh.
There's a
Tea.
theory that the accusers of the Salem witch trials
Fucking
were exhibiting
tea.
strange behavior, but it wasn't witchcraft. It was because they had eaten rye infected by ergot spores. It causes hallucinations. It was also pretty common 300 years ago.
I had an acai super muscle builder smoothie for lunch yesterday. I did not eat some sort of Pilgrim-era rye porridge. So how could I get poisoned?
I don't know, but I'd like to see if there are
Tea.
any sources of ergot in town.
This is so frustration. Oh my god.
I'll start with the judge. I
So
should
much
finally
frustration.
be able to get the CCTV access tapes. Frank, Joe, can you guys check the cemetery for any traces of ergot?
I'm not sure our ghost hunting equipment is...
We'll figure it out.
But I don't even know what an ergot spore looks.
We'll
Who
figure
is an
it out.
herbalist?
Deirdre, you can...
No.
Oh. Okay.
Time is running out. If we don't clear May's name soon, I hate to think what this town will do to her. I'm coming with you.
Oh good, we're
You
back
better
on
not
this
let
again.
me down.
I'm so glad that I get to be followed very closely by that one. You just turn around and she's just there. No matter where you move, how you move, she's just bam, there. Through walls, bam, he's there. Anyway, enough of me yelling at the screen and saying that it's tea, because we're gonna save, call it a day. The tea, so frustrating. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, that was my Thursday night stream. Day 2 of Midnight in Salem. I do appreciate that it is taking me longer to get through this game than any of the other games. I do wonder just how much of that is the difference between me knowing what's coming, kind of knowing even, versus, you know, whatnot. But yeah, no. Yeah. So this is a fuller picture of the game, I guess. I guess there are some more disappointing aspects. The writing is a little weak in some spots. Some really big logical leaps and stretches that have gotten to this point. I mean, Her Interactive has definitely pulled some of those on us in the past. You know, weird explanations of why there are only a couple people here instead of an entire cast of characters with a bunch of people and stuff like that. Really weird ways to get around that particular issue, so that they can narrow down the suspects. I understand the mechanics of why they need to, but you know, those have mostly been the weird logic leaps or weird things like you know, Shadow Sea of Shadows. Nope. Sea of Darkness. There we go. Sea of Darkness being a good one. Why the ship itself had so many damn puzzles on it, built into it. You know, obviously before the pirates took it. Some of them made sense. You know, the false wall having, you know, things hidden away in certain places. But there were so many puzzles that were just built into the damn vessel, that you had to sit there and be like, that doesn't make any sense. But that's what the logic gaps were in the older games. This game, the logic gaps are more like fudging legal anything. Again, I cannot seem to get over the fact that this estate, this house, was owned in full by Frances Tuttle, who adopted a daughter legally, Lauren Holt, and therefore all of her possessions, in the absence of a will, would pass to her adopted daughter because it is legal. That is literally the law. Even here in Massachusetts, that is the law. Doesn't matter what Salem's municipal laws were. That's the state law and that's the national law. That's just how it works. So it's frustrating when they're like, what do we do with the house? There's no will, so in 2 days it just goes to the state. And I'm like, no, it does not. That is not how this works. It is private property and it transfers like any other private property. Anyway, that's issue number one. The other issues being like me yelling at the screen, being like, it's the T. The fact that these three brilliant, four if you count Dee Dee, detectives can't seem to think of the one thing that all three of the people who have seen, or all four of the people who have seen the ghost or a ghost had at the same time when they saw the ghost. Baffles me. Especially when they finally determined that it was an herb that made them hallucinate, and then you could think about, oh yeah, we drank tea from the person who's an herbalist. Ah, there it is, Anyway. It's just, some of the jumps in logic are a little much for me to take. But yeah, as I've said before, the game mechanics are interesting. They're a little clunky, but they could be refined. I can certainly see that. The puzzles are, for the most part, pretty boring and standard. That last puzzle that we just had, like you said, CJ, has definitely been my favorite one so far in the new game, mostly because it was actually somewhat challenging and made me think a little bit. I still didn't have to write anything down. That, writing things down is not necessarily the sign of a good puzzle or a bad puzzle, as evidenced by Sea of Darkness, for instance. But, give me things to remember. Give me things to be like, oh yeah, I remember we saw this thing, scavenger hunt things, like what's the number on the, staircase of the Hathorn house or something. I don't know, like stuff like that. The laurel on the mirror in the Hathorn house meaning something more than just, this is where the secret panel is. It was basically just a giant arrow. It wasn't actually a puzzle. They feel a little more like hidden object games than puzzle games, which is unfortunate. Oh, so yeah, you were definitely going hard. I mean, when I was first looking at it, I was like, oh, this is going to be difficult. You're going to have to think about how to match up, like what's the missing letter that is the cipher key, and then do each one. But then I kind of figured out, okay, well, let's just try this first. Let's try the easier way first, and we'll see if it worked. And it worked. So, yeah, having a little bit more mental gymnastics would have been nice. Still. So yeah, I'm still holding off final judgments for now, but review in progress. Still impressed with the content, still impressed with the focus, the narrative focus that they have on, telling the story of what happens when a community has to deal with a great trauma that happened centuries ago. Because these are questions that are still being asked, especially in, in the Northeast area. I mean, there are people who want to preserve different histories, and those different histories can come when they come in contact with each other, they can sometimes be conflicting, and trying to find a way to respect everyone is difficult, if not impossible. I mean, in Salem's case, how do you respect that this town was built by these Puritan settlers, but also respect that people were hurt to do that? How do you respect the native population that was displaced for it? How do you respect the victims of the Salem witch trials that were, what was the context behind them? Because we don't honestly know. Was it a matter of everyone having mass hallucinations, or was it a matter of wanting to take someone's land? because those are questions that people actually had and have. While also being able to, while having the modern day issue of, do we respect the history and hold it as just history, or do we capitalize on the legend that's kind of behind it? And then what harm or help does that bring in? The help is obviously the money, which helps fund these larger projects to do more work on the history. But is that harming the history in the process in people's minds? Is it blending too much legend with the history to make it all too much? So, I mean, you're right about that, CJ. People don't care quite that much. It's not, and that is stretched a little bit, I will say. No one's going, if, let's say the descendants of the Parises are living in Salem, no one's going to go trash their house because their great 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 uncle and aunt like condemned some people to death. Like, we got enough of that. Okay. Like, even just those families even acknowledging that history exists is about as far as it goes. Drunk people, I mean, even then, it's hard to see that being a thing. I mean, I don't know. I see that as I have never heard of anything like that in the Salem area. I've never heard of anything like that even here in Boston when it comes to Boston's issues, because we definitely have our own particular demons that we deal with. A lot of racial issues around here. Maybe the biggest one that's a constant point of contention here in the city is relatively famous landmark we have here, Faneuil Hall. It's always been Faneuil Hall. It's been Faneuil Hall since, colonial times, because the man who built it, Faneuil, was one of the, not quite founding members of Boston, but, he was a really big deal in Boston, one of the biggest merchants in town, and one of the reasons why Boston was so successful early on. So, there's definitely a lot of work and a lot of history there, but he was also a slave owner. And having a statue dedicated to him and still calling this otherwise city-owned building, Faneuil Hall, is a difficult proposition for a lot of people whose families were, immediately disadvantaged from and displaced from original. You know what I'm trying to say here. Enslaved peoples. There we go. Words not working. Trying to make sure that I'm saying the right things and not misrepresenting anything, or putting words in anyone's mouths either. So those are questions that we have here. But at the same time, no one's going to Daniel's ancestors' houses and being like demanding them do something about it, because the descendants of the Fanuels at this point have no power over that building or even their ancestors' legacy. It just exists. They can only the only thing they can do is acknowledge it. Maybe beyond that, the only other thing they could do would be any kind of like financial reparation. But even then, it's very possible, and if not likely at this point, that they're either an extinct family line or don't have money to give. They don't have the advantages that were, brought by their ancestors' mistreatment anymore. So those are definitely questions that come up, but maybe not quite as intensely as they show up in the game. But yeah, I think the biggest question that happens in Salem, there are three big questions that happen in Salem, and they're all well represented in this game, and I like that. Number one is, what do we do about the legend of the witches? How do we handle the legend that comes from this? And the mythology that's around it, because the mythology makes tons of money. It's hard to describe exactly the massive difference that downtown Salem has because of the witch tourist industry. by itself. I mean, if you go to Marblehead or, you know, Peabody, any of the neighboring towns even, you'll get a lot of the similar feels from the downtown Salem area without the witchcraft stuff. But then you go to downtown Salem and it's like, bam, it's in your face. We've got the Bewitched statue. We've got the Salem Witch Museum. Like, it's capitalizing on that. And it brings a ton of money into the economy. And it's hard to state that. And then you've got the history of it, you know, the actual history, the actual trauma that happened. How do we respect that? How do we explore that? How do we expand upon that and do that work? You know, you need the funding to do it, so the witchcraft mythology, but then you also don't want to damage it by only holding up the mythology, because then the mythology becomes more real than the actual thing that happened. And then the third part being that there are actual Wicca and witches in Salem. I mean, there are actual stores that sell witchcraft and Wicca materials. Some of my friends buy from them. You know, they sell herbs, they sell things to do. I mean, I don't know too much about it, but like, yeah. So then there's that element as well where you've got, you know, people who practice witchcraft or practice Wicca as their religion. It's their truth and their religion, and so that needs to be respected in its own way. And also, if you got the Church of, is it the Church of, not the Church of Satan? It's the, or is it the Church of Satan? I can't remember which one it is. One of them is in New York, and one of them is in Salem. Okay, no, the Church of Satan is the Satanist religion, and that's from West Coast. It's Satanic Temple. That's right, the Satanic Temple in Salem, and this is what's wonderful. It is recognized as a church, which means that it gets its tax exempt church status. But it's the organization that calls into question the separation of church and state in a lot of different instances, like the Ohio State House and the Ten Commandments memorial that was on there, and then them demanding that a statue of Baphomet also be on there, because it was, you know, in the eyes of the law, they should be equal, and pointing out the fallacy and the entrenchment of Christianity in the United States, which I very much appreciate. They also have like official documentation that's all about like abortion and all these other really great progressive causes. Honestly, the Satanic Temple's pretty decent place as a whole. They're pretty great. I don't know if there's anything else for me to add right now, but yeah, there's a lot that goes into all this, and Her Interactive seems to have done their research, you know, because you have kind of those three big factions represented. Actually, even four big factions, because then there is really the fourth question of Salem. Sorry, four. I did this and it made it look like it was three. Four big questions, and that's all the other history of Salem. I mean, Salem was not just witchcraft. That wasn't it. I mean, after the Salem witch trials, most people wanted to forget, and so they did a really big deal of like, let's forget this. And it was a seaport town. Exactly, it was a huge seaport town. The maritime history of Salem is crazy, and that's where one of my favorite museums in the Salem area comes in, the Peabody Essex Museum. Peabody Essex Museum is absolutely amazing. If you ever come out to Boston, I heavily recommend going to the Peabody Essex Museum, because it is wicked cool. Just like the exhibits they have there, even the temporary ones, are so varied and amazing. The permanent exhibits that they have deal with the maritime history of Salem. There's also a maritime history walking tour, which is totally free and amazing. But the Peabody Essex Museum has a lot of the artifacts brought in from the maritime history of Salem, like everything from furniture to imports to pieces of ships to, you know, the original logs and ledgers and everything like that. It's fascinating stuff. They have in one case a huge elephant tusk of ivory, just an entire elephant tusk that is incredibly intricately carved. I mean, putting aside the whole ivory thing and what would have happened to get that, I mean, we're talking about the 1700s, 1800s here. They were idiots back then, but and very cruel. But the incredible artistry that goes into the carving, like the scrimshaw, it was just like, it's mind-blowing, and it's huge. It's this whole tusk that's just this one giant, I think it's depicting a Chinese village or a city or something like that. It's amazing. So the maritime history is awesome. Also, the last time I went to the Peabody Essex Museum, I think they had a temporary exhibit on the history of the steamship as a sailing, the history of the ocean liner specifically, the history of the ocean liner, and it was awesome. Like, they went from, you know, the early days with the early days, you know, pre-Titanic, all the way through to the Normandy and like the SS American and the fall after the World War II and the rise of everything like that. And not only did they have such cool stuff there, but they had so much from the Normandy. They had like wall paneling from the Normandy. They had tons of service things like the plates, cups, things like that. And maybe most interesting at all, and I know you might like this, CJ, they had one of the original grand pianos from the Normandy that were used. It's a custom Art Deco cabinet that they had for the Normandy. And what they would do is they would actually have a pianist who was on staff come in every hour or something like that and play it for, you know, a short recital, basically. And it was all, like, the set list was everything that would have been played on the actual ship in the 1930s. It was really cool. Now, the piano sucked, but it sounded like a weird Tinker Toy thing because it was a baby grand. It was a custom cabinet from the, you know, early 20th century. It did not age well. And it wouldn't have even been like a tuning or maintenance thing. It just wasn't a very good piano. But it was just cool to have and cool to see. So I very highly recommend the Peabody Essex Museum. And so, yeah, no, that was definitely those four different factions, you know, of what to do about Salem, what to do about the history of Salem, are pretty well represented in the game. Excuse me, maybe 5 if you count Jason, because six if you count everyone. So if you want to go over everyone here, you've got Jason, who just doesn't care and doesn't want to care about any of this for the most part, and that's pretty common as well. There are people who just don't care, and it's just a part of the town, and that just whatever. You've got Lauren, who cares very deeply about her beliefs in, you know, what these practices, rituals, and you know, potions, concoctions, and remedies mean, what they represent, and they are important in that way. Then you've got Olivia, where it's a monetary thing. It makes money, and you capitalize on the legend to make more money because it draws people in, which stimulates everything around you, including the historical research represented by Tegan, who, you know, again, is very much saying, like, this was real, these were real people, they should not be taken advantage of. But at the same time, everything that she is doing is being funded by Olivia. Like, you know, people come because of Olivia, but they stay to find out more about what Tegan's doing. And then you've got I'm forgetting. Alicia? Yeah, Alicia. Where she's more interested in the rest of the history. You know, it's a neat place. There's a lot of great stuff here, but can we get off of the damn witch thing? Like, why is it always about witches? Why can't it be about anything else? And then you've got the judge who's stuck in the middle of all this and being asked to decide. You know, the Hathorn House being the microcosm for the entire thing. So in that way, the writing is brilliant. The writing is pretty good, but yeah, in the particulars, it's frustrating. Like the weird fudgy way that we're getting there. Anyway, enough of that. I've been on a rant for a while now. I've seen my viewership steadily decline after I got rated earlier on. So thank you again to Bad Aim Coon. I still struggle to read that, but thank you again for rating me early on and following me. Yeah, it was a pretty great rant, and it all can be summed up indeed, Ragnarok, with tea. It was the damn tea. So anyway, but that's all for me for this week. I think not gonna stream again this week because trying to stick to a regular schedule, keep it regular, and everything like that. I mean, so like, I guess I will say it again. Like, when it comes to this game and the direction that Her Interactive took, a lot of these things that I like about it could have been done in the old engine. They could have been done in the old engine. That being said, I understand that there were limits to that engine, and some of the limits might honestly just be things that they would just need to make a 2.0 for. Like one of the things that I did notice is that you can't change the resolution at all. There's no resolution, anything like that. Paved with good intentions. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I don't have final thoughts about this game yet, and I'm going to wait to give those necessarily. Where I am leaning to now is kind of a wait and see sort of thing. See what they can make of this game, if they can do better with it next time. Maybe there were some lessons learned that they can capitalize on from there and make a better product next time, a better game, more fulfilling. Maybe it's inherent in the process and there's not much to do. So if it's inherent in the process, then, you know, fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, you know. Yeah, I can understand why. And you know, coming from my experience with my job, like getting people to change their habits is incredibly hard, especially work habits. If there's a culture of doing something at work and it's so ingrained and that's the only way it's been done for such a long time, it is very hard to get them to change, even if it is something that is good. You know, one of the biggest things that we struggle with myself is knowledge sharing across the institution. This is just an issue with my university as a whole, not just the library, but even within the library. Like the documentation I got from my position from my predecessor was woefully inadequate, and I had to basically rewrite all of it in my head as I went, and then do it again and do it again, and to the point where I even haven't written it down. But you know, then I find out that there are other departments that are doing totally different things with the same process. We're all kind of reinventing the wheel over and over again, not talking to each other as much. Those gates are opening and we're working on a lot of that, but that process is hard. And it's hard to get out of the rut of doing it the way that you're used to doing it because you're convinced that that's the only and the right way to do it. Yeah, exactly. It's you have to write them. Like, it's one of those things where, you know, no one else is going to do it. I have to do it myself. And that's where I'm at now, in fact. But and then you're switching systems. Yeah, right. So then you're like, I wrote all this and then I have to write it all again. But I mean, well, so content company, not a tech company, moving all this and the resources for. I mean, yes and no. I agree and disagree. And it's a difficult thing because, I mean, I understand why they would have needed to. Why they would have needed to do something different. Was it the right move? That's what I don't know. Was a I don't know. There's a lot of questions and a lot of things changed for this game, and that sets a fandom on edge. And then there's the question of who are you making this game for? Are you making it for the fans, or are you making it for people who are you trying to expand the fan base, and try and bring more people in, which can help support your product and your company more? It's that give and take that you've got there. If you only cater to the fans, then only the fans will follow. But then again, if you stop catering to the fans completely, then you lose that base. Right. So yeah, he was talking about in the past tense in that case. I mean, one of the things that I can certainly say on my end, some of the research that I did this semester for my schoolwork about my work, I did a lot of interviews with people who had retired from the library that I work for just a few years ago, within the time that I've been there. And on the one hand, they didn't know what was happening now, obviously, because they don't keep up with it. They're retired. They don't need to work. So they don't know what's happening in the library at the moment. Therefore, they don't know what the landscape is like. They don't know what the things they left behind as projects are at where they're at right now. But then they also don't they don't always look back on what they did with perfect clarity. Like there were a couple of times where in some of the interviews that I did, people contradicted each other about the same period of time for the same issue. The same thing happened. They were just very different reports. And some of that can be a little bit of different levels, different parts of the organization. People up here aren't going to see things the same way that people down here, and the people down here are going to see them. But then there's also a little bit of kind of looking back in your legacy and stuff like that. You want it to be better. You want it to be, this was what I did. And if things are going well, you want it to be, well, I helped set up some of that foundation. If things are not going well, you want to be like, well, we had a good foundation and you ruined it. I'm not saying that he's necessarily saying it, but there is that impulse, and we all kind of have it. I've definitely done it myself. I've definitely done a lot of work for an organization, left it because of one reason or another. Usually because I retired or left. Not retired. I say that like I'm old. I mean, I was busy, didn't come back. It was temporary position stuff or something like that. I had done something, and then something goes well, and I desperately want it to be well. The person who helped make this work did it because I gave them something to work with. Or if it goes poorly, they should have followed what I gave them. But sometimes that can also mask issues that we had when we were there, that even at the time we might have seen differently. Right, yeah, I mean, technically retiring and then retiring feels like two different things. And so, yeah, I don't know. The Her Interactive story is a very deep and complex one. I don't particularly like that so many people were let go, especially so many people who still wanted to work for Her Interactive and wanted to work on these games. Whether they were let go because they weren't working well with a new system, or whether they weren't on board with a new direction. But right, exactly, yeah. It's you don't know how that's going to play out. I think Shadow Ranch was early on enough that their main fan base might have been more, how do I put this, flexible. Just going by, I mean, I think one of the things that I've noticed with this game is that Her Interactive has realized that their fan base and a lot of their players are not kids. At least they're not kids anymore. Right, yeah, no, I know what you mean. It's a case study, yeah. And that's kind of what I did with work. I wanted to with work and the schoolwork that I was doing about work was take this as a case study. What can we learn from this? What can we suggest to go forward and do better? And in the same case as someone could look at Her Interactive and kind of see what happened, what could have gone better, what was done right, what was done wrong, and where it can be improved in the future. Even give concrete short-term and long-term solutions to dealing with some of the problems that have come up. One of the things that I think I've noticed with this, based on the chatter, is that we have no idea when the next game will be coming. There's very little information out there. We don't even know what the next game will be, except that there have been a lot of hints. As everyone on this channel has probably noticed, every single game so far, when it has finished, has had the every single game when it is finished has had the teaser for the next game, and there was a set release schedule. We knew when every game was coming out. That's obviously not something that happens normally in the video game world. Usually you don't even know about a game until it's announced, and then even then when it's announced, they don't tell you when it's happening until very, very, very late. Except in the very rare case that when they do, and when game companies do tell you when something's coming, and it's shock. Like I just am remembering when Fallout 4 was announced. It was announced at E3. I think it was when was Fallout 4 released? 2014? 2015. Yeah, 2015. Okay. Fallout 4 was announced at E3 2015, and they said right then and there, we're releasing in November, which everyone was like, holy shit, where did this come from? But with Her Interactive, that was the expectation. We knew there was one that released in May, there was one that released in October, or somewhere thereabouts. Like every single year, 2 games per year. That's it. And now the fan base all of that's been thrown out the window. I mean, when it was thrown out the window back in 2015, and then Midnight in Salem didn't come out that year, Midnight in Salem didn't come out the next year, and then they just kept delaying and delaying and delaying. That's when everyone was like, Her Interactive is going under. Our expectations have been dropped. And so, there's some repair that needs to be done on the point of HI, and I think they need to communicate some of that. I think they need to communicate some of their intention, even. I'm hoping that they're taking... I mean, when you're dealing with product, it's always difficult. Product of any kind. It's always difficult because unless you find a way to compel people to talk about it, or at least weight the feedback you're getting, you're going to get majority negative feedback every time. Because the people who are most compelled to give feedback are people who have had bad experiences. Good feedback is just as important as bad feedback, but I think the statistic is even like 20% of the time, people with a good experience will leave a comment or say something about it. And 80% of the time, if they have had a bad experience, they will talk about it. And so I know that if I were in the position of anyone at management of Her Interactive, and what I would be doing next post-release of this game would be trying to find out what people thought about it. Not reviewers, not... well, no, reviewers perhaps even. There were definitely some reviews that were out there that were, somewhat detailed, but you'd want to know what they thought. People who were new to the games, people who are, veterans of the games. You want to know what everybody thought. And so you need to have some kind of large sample size that, gives you some data that you can work with, qualitative data especially. And yeah, there's trust between a business and their market, and this one definitely was damaged. And so there's a lot of reparative work that needs to be done, and that reparative work can best be done by being transparent. Transparency is the #1 builder of trust in every single business relationship. Why people don't get that, I will never know, because for some reason they think transparency means some kind of weakness. Capitalism. It's weird, people. I mean, so I definitely felt a little wounded about the delays. I was wounded by the delays partially because when I expressed concern about them toward Her Interactive, I was met with a wall of silence or deflection, obvious deflection. So it wasn't even necessarily that they were mistreating me, but they were kind of treating me with the kid gloves. And it was a little bit like you're either giving me the cold shoulder or you're, saying, we'll tell you about our next announcement soon. I'm like, soon is not a date and soon is not anything. This has been 3.5 years and you haven't said anything about this. Like, it's one of those weird things where you owe it to the fans, but they don't really owe the fans anything, but they do owe the fans everything because the fans support them. It's getting that balance between making something that you want to make and making something that people will like. And sometimes, a lot of times, you try to find the middle ground or the Venn diagram where that overlaps. Sometimes you miss, and sometimes you just. I'm sorry if it's hitting too hard. Oh my god. We are definitely going on 2 o'clock in the morning, and we are talking about deep psychological things. All the weirdest shit happens at 2 a.m. 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. is the weirdest time because intellectually you just like click in and stuff happens. I mean, tell me that I'm wrong. But yeah, I am. Yeah, a lot of markets are definitely going through the same thing. And I mean, there's definitely a component to this that we haven't talked about, and that's because it doesn't necessarily apply here in a big way, but take BioWare, for example. I loved the BioWare games. Mass Effect 1, 2, Mass Effect 3 even. I know, but I liked it. The Dragon Age games, even Dragon Age 2 to some degree. But then Dragon Age Inquisition came around, and they were forced to use a different engine than they were used to. They were using Unity beforehand, and EA Games, when they bought out BioWare, EA Games forced them to use Frostbite. Frostbite was developed by EA Games. It's in-house, and therefore it cost them nothing to use it. But the developers were used to Unity, and they struggled. And you can see the struggle. They still shipped a very good, very quality game, but Inquisition was plagued by issues that the jank was because they weren't used to the engine. They were building a game on something they had never done, on something they had never built before. And so, that was kind of an instance of corporate pushing down, this is how you make a game. We're forcing you to take this business decision that affects the artists, with Her Interactive, it's slightly confusing where that directive came from. I mean, we know that it came from the new CEO. That kind of new push, new energy absolutely came from administration, but why the new CEO was brought in at that point is the big question. Why those new ideas were brought in, why that was seen as desirable for any of the stakeholders in the company. And some of that we probably will never know. Kind of stinks. But that's definitely a problem, especially across the gaming world. Any kind of thing. I mean, Disney owns something like 70% of everything in media at this point. The fact that they own that much means that there's going to be some hegemony. I mean, I remember when they took over Star Wars and when they took over Marvel, there was a lot of confusion and hope that they weren't going to Disneyify them, impose a certain content restriction on those properties because you know, Disney as a company had their reputation to uphold, you know, but at the same time, Star Wars was not for kids all the time. I mean, it kind of was for kids, but it was not a cartoon. You can't act like it's a Mickey Mouse cartoon. And there were some fears that they were going to work on that. They didn't, but again, that's not... The creative control then moves too far up the chain from the people who have a stake in it. So, yeah, there's a lot more of the game to go. And so it'll be interesting to see what Her Interactive does from this. They definitely lost a lot of people that were very much invested in this. To be honest, the coronavirus crisis is probably not making any of that easier. But I think if any industry can come out of this on the other side slightly better, it would be the video game industry, because we all just need to play video games. Oh my god. So, Tangle Tower and Detective Grimoire. I have not. I'm going to write those down. I'm not really using this notepad for much of anything right now, so I will write them down and I will take a look. I'm going to write in the margins. And was it Tangle Tower? Okay. I'll write them down. I'll take a look. Yeah, sure. I'm always down for cool game recommendations, especially based on Nancy Drew, because whatnot. But I mean, after this, I don't know what we're going to do in this channel quite yet. I haven't picked a game, but I have a couple of thoughts in mind. We'll see what happens. Anywho, it is now 1:50. I know that other people have to wake up tomorrow. I do not, because I'm taking the day off again. But I will sign off. See you all on Tuesday, hopefully. Please feel free to come by if you come by, where we will finish up Midnight in Salem. I will give my final thoughts on how we feel about it. So, yeah. I'll see you all on Tuesday. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you for sticking around the discussion. Absolutely. No, it was wonderful, CJ. Thank you. And thank you, Ragnarok, too, and my mystery third viewer, who is not speaking much. But, so I actually just turned them on last stream. So this stream forward will have them on. I am also going to try very soon to make a concerted effort to get more of them up on YouTube. I have to be a little more careful about that, especially because I am now eligible for affiliate. And if I jump on that, then the VODs that I have ready to upload cannot go on YouTube for a while. But because of that, that's why I turned VOD on for Twitch. So this stream will be available after this. Same thing with next Tuesday. So if you can't make it because you're streaming, CJ, then you'll be able to watch it still all the same. Anywho, have a wonderful night. Have a wonderful weekend. Everyone stay safe, stay healthy, keep happy. I will see you all next week. Same time on Tuesday, 10 p.m. EST. Till then, take care, everybody, and good night. Mwah.